Oh, hello. What's up? How's it going? How's life? Those departure tour dates are too old in the intro? No, that's for next timeline.
What's happening, man? What's your name?
My name is Jake.
Tell me about the event last night. What'd you make of it? A big turnout, a lot of issues discussed. Affordability was one of the issues discussed. Do you think Republicans can make that message for young?
Isn't this old as f***? Wait, who linked this? Wait, that was a trusted linker. Uh-oh. Am I overreacting? Boyfriend unlocks the bathroom door and comes in while I'm using it. I don't know if you guys just date crazy people or if I'm just... if I ever had somebody... There's so many things here where if somebody did this to me, I would just be like completely done immediately. Like I would just be like done. If somebody is unlocking a door to get into where you are that you've locked... I know you're at work right now, and you probably will be annoyed by me bringing this up again, but I told you I don't like you coming into the restroom when I'm using it. You have no patience whatsoever. It's super annoying how you unlock it without knocking and just come in. Like, dude, let me piss in peace. I was rushing, and you take forever to come out. I needed to brush my teeth and grab my belt from there, and I knocked a few times. You didn't respond. Well, wait, never mind. I changed my mind. I guess if somebody is, like, taking a long time and you have to go to work or some bullshit, and then it's, like, some retarded shit, then... Okay, but you know, I'm in there. You did knock a few times. It was a little last knock before you open the door. It's super annoying. And you should wake up a little earlier so you can get everything done before I have to get up and use the restroom if you're this impatient and are always rushing. Get up earlier so that I can sit in the bathroom? Why not just go to the bathroom a little later? What? I'm sorry, but it's not a big deal. And I don't do it all the time. Only when I'm rushing. I needed to do something quick, like brush my teeth or grab something. I don't know why I'm making it something it's not. Okay, well, it's not something I do to you, so I don't want you to do it to me. Okay, be quicker peeing, then you take forever. Okay, like I said, get up earlier and do everything before I wake up then. I do not take 20 minutes using the bathroom. I take about 5 minutes overall. He thinks I purposely take... How do you take 5 minutes to pee? How old is this person? What? I jerk off after I pee. Whoa. Here, so I think I've only been in this situation once in my life. I think when I did it, Aaron. If you have a partner who works, just get the fuck out of the way in the morning. You got nothing going on, bro. Let them, if they need a shower, if they need to do bathroom shit, whatever, if they have to do whatever, just get the fuck out of the way. Let them do their shit and then go to work. And then you've got all the time in the world to do whatever the fuck you want. Why the fuck would you ever occupy, especially if you only have one bathroom, why the fuck would you ever occupy this right before you know your partner needs to go to work? This is the most retarded, like, entitled shit in the universe. Why? Jesus, fuck all that shit. Especially if you're saying, why do you take 5 minutes to pee? I don't know. I think I would lose my mind. Fuck that. If you want privacy, you deserve it, period. Anyone arguing that is a weirdo. You should be able to lock yourself in the bathroom for an hour if you want. Holy shit. Who are these people? I can't even tell if these are women or just fucking retarded men. I don't even know who the fuck is in this thread. If your partner works in the morning and you don't, then wake up a little bit later or chill. Get the fuck out of their way. Let them get ready for work. Let them leave and go to work and then be done with it. And then do whatever the fuck you want to do. You have all day to goof off or jerk off or scroll or do your makeup or do your hair or hang yourself with your belt and auto asphyxiate if that's what you're into. It's 5 minutes. Omega low. Why are you taking 5 minutes to pee? I don't understand. You're not in and out of the bathroom in a minute or two tops. 5 minutes? That's like how much time it should take to poop. 5 minutes? What are you doing in there for 5 minutes? 5 mins is nothing, LOL. I feel like somebody is just completely disconnected here, okay? It might be me, I admit it. Or it might be you, I don't know, okay? But to me, when you work, every minute before work is like a sanctuary fucking minute, okay? If I have to be at work at 10 p.m. and I know I have to leave the house at 9:42 because it's like a 16-minute drive, assuming I hit all the right lights. And that takes me about a minute and a half to get from the parking lot inside to the clock-in machine. So I clock in 1 minute early to on time. Okay? If I have to leave by like 9, we'll say 9:40, give me a 2-minute buffer, okay? If I have to leave by 9:40, if I wake up at like 9:20, I have 20 minutes to get ready, and you waste 5 minutes in the bathroom? 5 minutes? That's of this tiny sliver, narrow margin of time that I have in getting ready to go to work. Just wait for them to leave. Just wait for them to leave. Why would you, like, there's the tiny little window of time for your partner to get ready for work. Why would you occupy that time scrolling Instagram? What? I would lose my fucking mind. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I would lose my mind. Set your alarm 5 minutes early? Fuck that. That's company time, okay? You think I'm waking up 5 minutes early for my fuck job because my dumbass partner can't hold their bladder for 5 fucking minutes? For me to go, get ready, and then leave? You're literally saying you leave for work late enough to arrive late if there's a single accident during rush hour. Yeah? What, you think I'm going to leave early every single fucking day? How many, do you think there's more often an accident or not? Motherfucker. Hell no. I'm not getting to work 10 minutes early every day on the off chance that some fucking retard kills himself on the fucking highway. Fuck that. Hell no. Fuck no. Hell no. I'm not getting paid for that time. Will you have CIA trained fucking snipers at the clock-in station waiting to see, daring you to clock in early? Did you clock in? Your shift starts at 10. You clocked in at 9:52, motherfucker? Are you running my labor high for this shift? They will kill you for that. Where I come from, they kill people for clocking in that early. Are you crazy, motherfucker? And then what's the alternative? You're going to sit in the parking lot for 10 minutes? Because your partner likes to sit on the toilet for 10 minutes? Fuck no. Fuck no. Hell no. If I'm early, I just sit in the break room for like 5 minutes. I don't want to spend any extra time at my job. Why the fuck would I spend time at my job and not get paid for it? That's like submitting yourself to interrogation or torture when you don't even know the fucking answer. Why would you do that shit for fun? Unless it's a kink or a sexual fetish, why the fuck would you volunteer? What are you, tipping your employer with your extra time in the break room? Fuck that. Oh my God. Fuck no. Although, actually, hold on. Let me rewind a lot of this. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me rewind a lot of this, okay? Because I forgot. We just had a generational communication problem, okay? Back in my day, when you go to work, all you have is TV, and maybe you could text friends if you have anybody to text with your T9, okay? Now, I guess today, if I had a whole ass fucking cell phone and the whole world at my fingertips, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't mind showing up early because I can just fucking scroll my phone or some shit. Maybe not, actually. Maybe I don't care. Maybe never mind. I don't know. I remember having to cycle out the MP3s on my phone to listen to different albums when I was working at night because you can't hold 20 billion fucking songs. Just bring a book? You're banned. Who the fuck reads? Fucking loser. Overachiever. Nerd. Back in the day, cyberstalking, A-logging, was cordoned off to weird incel forums. Nowadays, you have straight-up content creators egging it on in their communities, making their own personal project of envy into entertainment or even a political strategy. It's so much crazy projection. Real fast, can somebody give me a screenshot of Hassan reading my Kiwi Farms post? I would love that. Just a screenshot of that. Somebody find it. Did you ever make an MP3 CD so you could fit more songs on a CD in your car? No. I think it was theoretically it was possible at one point, but just because you can read the medium doesn't mean you can read the format. So early CD players could only read, I don't remember what the standard was called for CDs, Redbook or something. It could only read like a CD, like ordinary CD file. It couldn't read MP3s. Sometimes, like later on, there was technology for, they would call them MP3 CD players or whatever. So they could actually read MP3 files off of CDs, but, or CDA, or I don't remember what the, have you ever worked a salary job? No, all my shit was always hourly. But I worked in, the service jobs that I worked in, salary was like, fucked, because if they salary you, that means you're overtime, no pay, and they will abuse the fuck out of you for that. Although if it was like a real ass job, then thank you. Oh, fuck, I just saw Black Cat already tweeted this, right? Don't care. Get fucked. Why is vinyl outselling CDs when it sounds worse? Because if you're buying any old format like that, you're probably doing it for some hipster shit. And why the fuck would you buy CDs now? There's like, I don't know what the point is of buying a CD. I don't know why you would ever buy a CD. But for vinyl, you could have like a your analog sound chain. Signal chain. I mean, sorry. Fuck. Come home. The difference between the bulwark and the dispatch, I think, is this. The dispatch treats Trump as a bad president who should be opposed when appropriate. The bulwark treats him as the Satan of a Catholic baptism, where you're morally bound to reject all his works and promises. I mean, he is kind of fighting the Pope right now, so I don't know if that's the best analogy, but... Oh, Jesus. Ah, on the chin too. Oh my God. Oh. Okay.
Contending that the district court erred in the analysis when it looked at
What?
qualified immunity. The fact that somebody makes a 911 call doesn't enhance the facts in any way. Officers shouldn't be violently attacking people outside their own houses.
Wait. Who does he sound like? Hold on. Fuck. Who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? Is it? Am I thinking of Kraut? Or a Key and Peele? Oh wait, Key and Peele, I think.
Violently attacking.
Oh shit! Wait, it's the guy. Wait.
happen to know anything about this. Now,
I feel like I'm hearing
you?
this guy.
we're combing the area for Jews, but it has come to our attention that 2 Negroes have escaped.
Does he sound like this guy?
People outside their own houses, and I'm sticking them. I'm talking. You would just waste your time.
Wait, is that a real accent?
Schnitzel Nazi.
Please, gentlemen, sit down. We have developed many tests to determine if an individual is, in fact, an actual Negro.
No, I don't want to waste my time. Well, that's what you're doing. What isn't? I mean, stop talking. All right, it's already halfway.
Okay, I'm done. In before somehow this guy gets assigned to my case and I fucking tank everything.
The argument you haven't come up with a single thing. Is that professionally appropriate? You think you know with this on tape? Okay. Okay, so you should go back and look at it, and I think you should have your supervisor look at this.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. In December of 2013, Deputy Ivan Rodriguez responded to a call for a suspicious person. The 911 call described a Hispanic male in a brown hoodie inside of a house.
What?
It was 11:05, and Nicholas Aquino was at home. He sees a deputy on his property with no visible name tag and steps outside to ask if he can help the officer.
Big
Deputy
mistake.
Rodriguez tells him that he is not free to leave and begins questioning him, asking for his identification almost immediately. Nicholas didn't have his driver's license on him, but withdrew his military ID out of his wallet, holding it beside his head. As Deputy Rodriguez reached for it, Nick pulled away, still unsure why the deputy was even present at his home. At that point, Deputy Rodriguez takes Nick to the ground, choking him out from behind. A second deputy arrives on scene, and Nick is placed into handcuffs. He is then placed in a cruiser, without being told who the officers were or why they were there. Nick is left in the cruiser for about 25 minutes, during which the deputies enter and search his home without a warrant. Throughout that period, they ruffle through the contents of his wallet as well, until a neighbor happens to walk by and identifies Nick as the resident of the home.
Why do retards keep their ID next to their head instead of just handing it over, by the way? Well, I mean, he probably didn't want to hand it over because he didn't know who the fuck the guy was, right? Why would you just give your ID to a fucking stranger? I think that's fair.
However, despite the false 911 call and the unlawfulness of the deputy's actions, Nick was the only one charged with a crime.
They charged
Resisting
him?
arrest for not placing his identification into the palm of the deputy. Upon his release, Nick also realized that $50 was missing from his wallet.
Oh no!
It took almost a year and a half for Nick to fight the charge
Bruh.
of resist, delay, obstruct, and in April of 2014, all criminal charges were dismissed.
I feel like this is one of those cases where the cop is supposed to like not charge you with a crime at all and pretend he's doing you a favor. He's like, "Oh, listen, get out of here, son. You know, I'll let you walk there," because the cop realizes like he fucked up. What? Jesus, this guy tipped the cops though. Not good.
A few months later, Nick filed a federal civil rights lawsuit for the unlawful detention, excessive use of force, the illegal search and seizure, and emotional distress. The case was litigated over the next 2 years through extensive motions, discovery disputes, and evidentiary rulings. With over 300 docket entries, the court finally set the trial for 2017 to
That
decide
just means his lawyer's trying hard.
on the key issues of whether Nick was lawfully detained, whether force was used reasonably, and whether the deputies had entered and searched the home illegally. It had been 5 years since the incident, and right before trial began, Deputy Rodriguez filed for a motion of summary judgment, arguing that he was entitled to qualified immunity. However, due to several disputed facts, the district court denied qualified immunity for the deputy. Deputy Rodriguez appealed the district court's decision, and in September of 2017, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals heard oral arguments for the case.
Good morning, Your Honors. Will you please
Hold on, wait, I'm so confused.
Year and a half for Nick to fight the charge of resist, delay, obstruct, and his lawsuit for the unlawful detention, excessive use of force, the illegal search and seizure, and emotional distress. The case was litigated over the next 2 years through extensive motions, discovery disputes, and evidentiary rulings. With over 300 docket entries, the court finally set the trial for 2017 to decide on the key issues of whether Nick was lawfully detained, whether force was used reasonably, and whether the deputies had entered and searched the home illegally. It had been 5 years.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry. The way he's phrasing this is confusing. This is a civil case then. It's not a criminal case. Because this is where a qualified immunity would come in, right? Is to protect the cop from civil damages. I don't know if a civil rights case would be, but okay. Yeah.
Deputy Rodriguez appealed the district court's decision, and in September of 2017, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals heard oral arguments for the case.
Good morning, Your Honors. May it please the court. My name is Michael Philippi. I'm Deputy County Counsel for Monterey County, and I represent the defendant Appellate.
Taylor Lorenz tried to dunk on you. The fact that you think sex abuse is the same as sex is quite a self-report. What? Oh, this is just the dumbest, weirdest fucking virtue signal in the world. Once again, begging the media to use the term child sex abuse material and not child pornography. There is no such thing as child pornography, and the use of that language trivializes the sexual abuse and exploitation of children. I don't believe in this language bullshit. I think that people can use language in a way that kind of keys you into what's going on in their head. Absolutely. So I think that you can use it to figure out, like, well, what does this person actually think about a thing? But I don't believe that if you just force somebody to adopt, like, different language on a thing, that it, like, fundamentally alters their idea about that thing. This is stupid. I just think it's a dumb virtue signal. So I think I tweeted...
What, changing it? Changing it from like C.
They want to change it to
CSAM
CSAM or whatever. It's just fucking retarded. I just think it's stupid.
Well, I think if anything, it probably fucks it up more because I don't think the average person at this point knows what CSAM is. Whereas CP has like pretty clear implications. It's like about child like abuse and like pornography, etc.
Probably, yeah. And I said, ew, she's defending the use of the term child sex because the joke would be...
That's a joke, yeah.
Because you would say there is no such thing as child sex. It would always be child rape. So it shouldn't be called child sexual abuse material. It should be called child rape abuse material.
So CRAM.
Yeah. If you're like... But I'm just... There's just like a stupid fucking euphemistic treadmill. Like... Okay. Hold on.
Holding. Any draft lovers? Woohoo! The Browns got a good one this year. Andrew Berry may be the GOAT. 49ers fans are on suicide watch too. Oh, is he typing right now?
What are you talking about, bro? Nobody knows the sports games.
You're making a tweet, dude.
Oh, this is where Mooten pretends to watch sports so it can seem like he's cool for the audience.
I watch it every fucking week,
oh my
man.
God.
I didn't care about basketball this year, but I did care about football.
Really? What's your favorite team? What's your favorite team?
The Cleveland Browns.
The Browns? Who's our coach?
Yeah. It is Todd Monken right now. We just swapped over.
Oh, really? And then who's the defensive coordinator?
I don't know the defensive coordinator.
Oh my God!
We actually
you pretend
just swapped
to care?
over.
You pretend
No,
to care?
I'll be honest. I don't know his name right now.
Oh my God!
It's a new.
It's over. It's over
guy.
for you. It's over for you.
What was our old defensive coordinator's name? Fuck, I should know it. Oh, he quit because he was mad because he didn't get to be the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Schwartz. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too late, Mooten. Do you know who the defensive end is?
Our defensive end?
Yeah.
Yeah, Myles Garrett.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Lucky. You looked it up probably.
Well, he's the best player in football. And so you kind of has to...
Shut the fuck up. You're fucking retarded. No one cares. No one cares. Cleveland doesn't have the best of anything, okay? It's not even in a good state. Get the fuck out of it. What do you want?
What do you want? Help her. Can we agree red button pushers are inbred subhuman?
Yeah, they're a detriment to society. We've already agreed. All of us, every single DGR agreed on that. Right, guys?
Right?
They did.
Dan's coming in here.
Yes, we've asked the court to look at the district court's decision with regard to a decision on motion for summary judgment. We're contending that the district court erred in the analysis when it looked at the question of qualified immunity. The court seemed to stop at the decision of saying, well, there's a dispute factually as to whether or not we can say as a matter of law there was excessive force, or there was an unreasonable length of detention, or there was a Fourth Amendment violation in search of the wallet. The next step in that analysis with regard to qualified immunity would have been to say, okay, we're going to give the plaintiff the benefit of the doubt on the questions with regard to fact, which is the standard for summary judgment review. But then we have to look at, would a reasonable peace officer say, I believe my actions fall within the law? To do that, you also have to look at whether or not the law is clearly defined.
Why wouldn't the answer here have been no to that question? I mean, there was no reported crime, certainly no crime of violence.
There's a 911 call of a suspicious person inside a house.
Suspicious person inside the house. That's not a crime.
No, it's not a crime, but...
I'm beside the house, right?
Well, the point is, an officer is going to respond to a 911 call. He gets some certainly respond to a 911 call. But the fact that somebody makes a 911 call doesn't enhance the facts in any way. The fact of the matter is, the caller saw nothing that looked like a crime. Just some guy outside the house, the way you and I might be around our houses, right? And then goes in. There's absolutely nothing like that. And then the officer approaches Mr. Aquino and
one of the things that sucks about lawyering and the internet existing is that, like, as a lawyer, if you're trying to oppose, a motion, or if you're trying to file something with the court, if there are like, if there's like one killer argument and like four kind of like dog shit arguments available to you, you have to make every single argument in front of the court. You should, right? You're exhausting every argument. And then when the judge is evaluating, you only need to win on one. It's not like a debate. Like in real life, in a debate, if you make 5 good arguments, but you like misspeak or you stumble on one, you like,
it's GG.
Yeah, you lose the debate. In court, you can put 5 arguments before the court and stumble on 4 or fail to argue 4 correctly. But the last one is a good argument, and that could be enough to win the motion or to override or whatever the fuck.
Do you think that sometimes can fuck the jury though? Like if the jury gets like, I don't know, if they hear too many fucking arguments, they kind of forget about your strong ones?
Well, judges are determiners of matters of law, so they are qualified to read through every argument and understand exactly what they're seeing. For a jury, I don't think you're going to put forth 20 different arguments. You're going to try to have a good story and then stick
like
to it.
Storyline that you go for, yeah.
And then you might run down like 1 or 2 different kinds of arguments where you might say like, remember, jury, the instructions for first degree are to convict on if you believe he did something with malice, aforethought, and all this. So even if you think that he killed him, even if you think that this happened, you're not to say that he's guilty of you, blah blah blah. This is what they have to find, yeah. But generally, yeah, you're not going to make like 20 different arguments in front of the jury, hoping that they know that if just one works, yeah. But these are usually arguments for matters of law.
And he does nothing suspicious. He does nothing illegal. There's no evidence of anything like that. And then the next thing he knows, Mr. Queen is on the ground losing consciousness. I don't know why you're here. Why are you appealing this case? I am a little baffled.
Because the district court didn't complete the analysis with regard to...
Well, go ahead, complete it.
Although... I mean, like, I think you're probably supposed to be very, very aggressive, obviously, when you're fighting your case. I don't know if you should necessarily be as aggressive when you're looking for appeals and everything. At that point, maybe you should pump the brakes a little and be, but I don't know what the standard practice is.
You're at the judge's mercy, yeah?
The what?
You're at, like, the judge's mercy for, like, the appeal shit, yeah?
Well, yeah, but like when you're arguing a case, you should be arguing vigorously, obviously within good faith, but you should be arguing vigorously in front of the judge, in front of the court where you're trying your case. But to appeal, you're saying that somebody got it wrong down here. So even though I argued it vigorously, I lost. I think he got it wrong, and now I'm going to go over him. So I think if you're appealing, my guess is just going to be if you're appealing, you should have a really good reason to appeal, not just you're going to re-argue the same thing and say the other guy was a fucking retard or something. But I don't know. I'm sure some lawyers are more onerous than others, and I don't know.
In this case, I am a little baffled.
Because the district court didn't complete the analysis with regard to...
Well, go ahead, complete it. I just don't see what there is to complete. I mean, officers shouldn't be violently attacking people outside their own houses and then sticking them... I'm talking.
Careful. Chill.
I mean, you want to just waste your time
No, I don't want to waste my time.
Well, that's what you're doing.
Oh, he pissed him off. Cook.
When you guys are asking me 6 months or whatever year, go look up whatever was on the court docket. That's probably what I was talking about. So whatever happened on October 24th, look at what happened on October 23rd or 24th and go see what was about with the court. It was probably about that. Almost everything about this court case has come out by now, though. So.
We're here on de novo review, so it doesn't really matter what the district court said exactly. What matters is whether your clients are actually entitled to qualified immunity. And so far you haven't told us why they are.
All right. I mean, you've spent a lot of time talking, but you really haven't come up with nothing.
Under qualified immunity, if the law is not clearly established, the officer is given the benefit of the doubt. If a reasonable officer can believe his or her actions fall within the law, even if they're
Do you think qualified immunity is good or bad?
It's good. It's necessary. It has to be.
There's states without it, though, right? I think New Mexico.
Okay, well, first of all, when you say I think New Mexico doesn't have qualified immunity, what you mean is you've looked it up and it doesn't have qualified immunity.
No, I think it's that one.
Is that true though? My guess is every state must have qualified immunity of some kind. That would be my assumption.
I'm pretty sure there is one state that doesn't have it.
That seems really.
No, New Mexico does not allow the defense of qualified immunity for public officials, including law enforcement, in state courts.
Is there? I can't imagine that to be the case. Qualified immunity. So a lot of people think that qualified immunity means that you can like commit crimes. Like they compare this to the president, that you can commit crimes and get off the hook because you can never be charged with a crime. Qualified immunity is supposed to protect you from civil litigation, though. So, for instance, imagine how much civil litigation there could be for a cop that comes into my house and arrests me is essentially what, breaking and entering. He's fucking my wages up. Like there's so many.
It's like a fourth violation. Yeah, it's like a ton of shit.
Yeah, there's so much shit. But like he's a cop, right? So this is part of his job. So qualified immunity is supposed to protect him from me suing him. Not the police department, but for me suing the cop directly, saying like, oh, well, he injured me, right? As long as the cop was doing what he felt was his job, and it's like reasonable. That's what this guy's talking about. There's like if a cop comes in, he starts like, kicking your teeth in. He's like, fuck this guy. He
can still be held criminally,
Cleveland Brown,
of course.
Well, he could be held criminally liable, but even in qualified immunity,
because he's outside of his.
He's way outside the scope of the law. Yeah. So that's what this judge is trying to point back here to this attorney who's arguing. The attorney's like, well, he showed up at the house, he had a 911 call, and he arrested the guy. And the judge is saying, you had a 911 call. That doesn't mean that the officer is right to tackle some dude to the ground and do everything else. Like there was nowhere near enough probable cause for this cop to feel like he was acting within the scope of his duties that would qualify him for civil immunity or whatever. But. Give me the New Mexico. I don't understand how New Mexico could function, because if you have no qualified immunity, then
I think that they have insurance for it.
Well, but then I feel like what that would lead to is an environment where literally every single time you have interaction with a cop, I feel like everybody would just sue the cops constantly.
Okay, so there's 2 states apparently that have banned it. It's New Mexico and Colorado.
Do they have some type of like instead of this, they have some other thing?
Under New Mexico's new law, a person has the right to sue the state, a city, or county when their rights under the state's constitution have been violated.
I thought qualified immunity only protected individual cops, because you can still like file suit against like police departments or whatever. No.
Yeah, I don't think police departments are held under qualified. I think that's usually what's qualified.
Shielding government officials, including police, from personal liability in civil lawsuits unless they violated clearly established statutory constitutional rights, protects officials from reasonable mistakes, aimed at preventing excessive litigation, but is filling gaps. Under New Mexico's new law, a person has the right to sue the state, a city, or county when their rights under the state's constitution have been violated, such as in cases involving police misconduct. Well, but so can they sue cops?
The governor of New Mexico signed a bill on Wednesday that will permit people to sue police officers and other government officials for violating their rights under the state's constitution without requiring them to overcome the obstacle of qualified immunity.
Oh, well, I'd be curious to see, I guess, how that's turned out or whatever. That just seems like...
I'm not sure. Happened in 2021, I guess.
Fuck. Well, somebody find a video on that. I'm curious what the results of that have been. My assumption would be that it would just be, you'd be plagued with civil litigation if you were any kind of police department constantly. Every cop would be getting sued all the time for everything.
The law is, what you haven't told us, what it was that the reasonable officer saw that would have justified knocking down Mr. Aquino and then locking him up in a police car for half an hour. What is it? I mean, stop talking.
All right.
You're already halfway through your argument. You haven't come up with a single thing.
He responds to a 911 call. He's directed to the house, which was also identified in the 911 call. He goes on the property. As he's determining whether or not there's any signs of forced entry, someone inside the house closes the blinds. He decides at that point he's at risk. He's going to withdraw. Someone from the house comes out that matches the 911 call individual and
asks if he needs help, right? I mean, what criminal comes out and asks the police what they need?
Well, if you're trying to divert the attention of the officers so your compatriots can get away or a little child can be slaughtered in the back bedroom, that's a perfectly good way to defer that person's attention away.
Well, why isn't the thing to do? If you really think that there are criminals inside and there's crime going on, why wouldn't a reasonable officer call for backup?
Backup was on the way.
And wait for backup? To deal with the situation rather than physically attacking a homeowner outside of his own home.
Well, if
it happened to you, would you feel this was justified?
If it happened to me, I would have given him my identification.
Well, he did give identification.
No, the officer or the individual pulled out a wallet and pulled out a card and held out a card that said, "This is my identification." The officer tried to inspect that identification. He withdrew it. So under the totality of the circumstances, the officers...
Withdrawing the identification is a justification. I mean, that's not illegal. I mean, the officer can look at the ID in his hand, doesn't have to take it.
He wasn't given that opportunity.
So he could say, let me take it.
Well, he held out his hand implying, let me have a look at the ID, and instead the individual withdrew the ID. And under the totality of the circumstances, the officer at this point has reason to suspicion.
I'm going to knock you down because you withdrew your ID.
Well, he was told...
I can't believe you're stating they make it an argument.
I believe that he is entitled to...
And what justifies them putting him in the police car for half an hour?
He was in the police car for less than half an hour, but even if he was in the police car...
This cop...
It was only 28 minutes, Your Honor.
I can't believe they charged the guy with a crime. Like, this is a scenario where the cop is supposed to act like he's doing you a favor. Like, all right, listen, you know, I'm feeling good today. You can leave. Here, you're lucky today or whatever. And because the cop knows he fucked up, and then the cop fucks off. I can't believe they... Not only did they arrest him, but then they actually charged him with a crime. That's
what they charge him with?
Like resisting arrest. It was crazy, retarded. It was so stupid.
For half an hour.
He was in the police car for less than half an hour, but even if he was in the police car for half an hour, the courts have already determined...
I'm sorry, let's focus on that. He says half an hour. Okay. And you said you give the plaintiff the benefit of doubt as to the facts, right?
As to the violation, yes.
Well, as to all facts. I mean, if that dispute is facts, we have to assume plaintiff's facts.
Okay.
So why are you arguing with me when I say half an hour, you say it was less than that? What is the significance of doing that?
Well, the courts have said, and there is a case directly on point where the court has said 25 minutes is not an excessive amount for a detention.
But he says it was half an hour, so don't we have to give him the benefit of the facts at this stage in the litigation?
It probably also depends on why they're held for 25 minutes.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. The lawyer is looking for summary judgment. You have to read the facts most favorable to the opposing the movement. So if he's moving for summary judgment, you have to read the facts in the most favorable light to the other person. The other person's saying 25 minutes. You can't argue it was 30 minutes. That's a factual dispute that a jury has to decide. You don't get to argue that for your summary judgment is what they're pushing on. He can't start twisting and bending the facts. That's for the jury to decide.
Even go farther than that. Let's say you can be put in a police car, you can be transported across town and presented for identification with somebody else.
My question is, I said half an hour, and you disputed that. You must have had some reason for doing it.
I think the judge is kind of giving the litigant or the lawyer a hard time, though, because the lawyer, it might have just been retarded for him to even appeal this case. I don't know why he appealed it, if he had a good reason for appealing this or not, but...
Justification. We have to accept, for purposes of this appeal, it's half an hour.
Okay.
Not okay. Yes or no?
Oh, I hate it when they do that one. Okay. Okay? Sure. Sure or yes? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so why did you dispute this? Why when I said half an hour, did you think it was appropriate at this level, in this argument, to dispute the half an hour?
Your Honor, yeah, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said shit, Your Honor, because I'm fucking retarded. I fucked up. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Move on.
Apologies.
I'm asking you, why did you do it? What is the significance of it?
There is a CAD report, which is generated by
I'm sorry?
a CAD report. It's a radio transmission. It logs the radio transmissions from the point of the 911 call to the point that the entire situation is cleared, and that shows that it was less than half an hour. It shows that.
So you want us to dispute? You want us to?
No, that was my error, Your Honor. I apologize.
I'm a retard, Your Honor.
Counsel, I want to ask you about what the district court characterized on page 9 of the opinion, the extended physical seizure. And you didn't refer to it by name, but I know you know the case, the Gallegos case.
Yes.
And the district court judge cited it several times in the opinion. And what I want to know is, do you think the district court judge didn't give proper weight to the Gallegos case or misapplied it in some way?
Justin, in the USA, when a cop fucks up, the cop better charge you with a crime just to CYA, because cover your ass charges are common when cops fuck up. It helps slow down lawsuits when you have to fight criminal charges. Sure, I mean, if it's gotten to the point to where like somebody's about to fuck you up because like you've injured somebody or like something serious has happened, sure. But if there's like nothing that's like happened seriously so far, I forget did the cop just tackle him and arrest him and like detain him for 30 minutes or what? Like, what all did he choke? Did he choke him? What do you mean, like choked him out? Oh, well. In that case, yeah, maybe the cop was fucked at this point. Then the cop did have to charge him with something. Otherwise, it looks real bad. True.
I think the court didn't give it a proper weight. I think that in that situation, you had an individual who, as I referred to, is stopped, transported across town for a lengthy period of time, is in handcuffs, was stopped at gunpoint, and was determined not to be the individual who was trying to break into the house, so was transported back to his vehicle, which took a substantially longer period of time, which is a substantially more intrusive stop, and yet the court said that that's not a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And here we've got a situation where an officer responds to a 911 call. It's not his decision to make the stop. He responds to the 911 call. An individual that matches the description shows up out of the house. There's an exchange. He's told he's being detained, and then he resists the detention. At that point, it's no longer a detention. It's a resisting arrest situation. The officers...
I would have to see, Is there a video of the original incident?
And
I'm sorry, why was he being detained? I lost track of that.
So that the officer could complete the investigation as to whether or not he was actually the renter of the home.
So this is after he knocked him down?
This was before they had the confrontation.
And what did he do that was inconsistent with being detained? I'm just losing track of that.
I'm sorry, but
he didn't walk away. He didn't walk away. He didn't. I'm just wondering, what is it that justified putting him in the police car? I mean, he says you're detained, okay. Does he do something that's inconsistent with being detained?
The officer wants to place him in handcuffs for his safety because his backup has not arrived at that point. The individual resists being handcuffed, and so at that point he says...
That's a fact dispute too, isn't it? He says he just fell.
He says he was dragged to the ground, so if you...
No, but I think he disputes that he resisted being handcuffed, doesn't he? I thought he did.
He said he was complying, yes.
Brah, you can't... He's twisting the facts on a summary judgment argument. You can't do this. Uh-oh.
Let him cook.
Okay, so again, why are you doing this? Why are you arguing after you concede, after you state that you understand the legal framework, that we accept the plaintiff's facts? We have to accept the plaintiff's facts. Why are you now arguing things on the other side that's inconsistent with that? Is that professionally appropriate? Is that being candid with the court?
I believe that the analysis for qualified immunity still requires the court to make a finding that says the officer was not reasonably justified in believing his actions.
We have to accept the facts on the ground as plaintiff alleges them. And plaintiff says, I complied. Why are you arguing he didn't comply? Why? How can you stand there as an officer of the court? And, I'm sorry?
I'm not saying he didn't comply.
Well, but you just said exactly that.
That's what the resisting.
This is on tape. Okay. So you should go back and look at it, and I think you should have your supervisor look at this. You understand?
I do.
I'm directing you to. Who's your supervisor?
Assistant Lynch.
Oh.
Okay, you will ask her to watch this argument.
Yikes.
See whether making the kind of argument you do is she thinks is appropriate.
Okay.
Sheesh.
We'll hear from the other side.
Sheesh.
After counsel for Deputy Rodriguez took the fattest L of his professional career, the court heard from the victim's attorney.
May it please the court?
Is he always like that?
My name is Nina Patani. I'm here for plaintiff appellee Nicholas Aquino. I'm very moved by some of what I heard today. This has been a bit frustrating. It is our position that appellate's appeal is frivolous and serves only to delay justice to plaintiff appellee.
Are you seeking attorney's fees for that appeal?
We are.
Jesus.
My reasons for stating so is that jurisdiction is defective, as explained more fully in appellee's brief for a variety of reasons, including that the district court found that there were disputed facts that required assessment by a jury, and it would be therefore premature to make the final decision on qualified immunity. I think the court also implied that if it accepted all of the facts in plaintiff's favor, it would not find this officer's conduct reasonable. I don't believe there's jurisdiction at this stage, and I don't think there's jurisdiction to assess the search of the wallet claim because I think that issue was waived.
I'm having trouble understanding your jurisdictional argument. I mean, they're entitled to accept plaintiff's facts. I realize they don't do that, but they're entitled to accept plaintiff's facts as they still say there is no disqualified immunity. And we have jurisdiction to hear that. I don't understand how you can argue there's no jurisdiction.
Well, I think that's a good point, Your Honor, and I think there's...
It's really more of a question.
It's a question? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how can there not be jurisdiction? I mean, we can say they're wrong, and I think they are wrong myself, but the fact that they are wrong doesn't deprive us of jurisdiction.
Well, I think in ACTA v. Portland and in Johnson v. Bay Area Rapid Transit, 2 Ninth Circuit cases, and also in Johnson v. Jones, which is a U.S. Supreme Court from 1995, there is an indication that an interlocutory appeal on a denial of qualified immunity that was based on disputed facts in the categories of what the officer believed or perceived, and in the category of what actually transpired between...
Who the fuck is doing the case research for this lady? Jesus. This is on September 12th, 2017. Jesus Christ.
I was about to say, I bet AI has done some fucking amazing work for the average lawyer now.
Yeah. Okay. Jesus.
Appeal on a denial of qualified immunity that was based on disputed facts in the categories of what the officer believed or perceived.
I wonder how many cases I could fit this. I think interlocutory appeal is when you're appealing a case before any judgments or decisions have been made. Interlocutory appeal allows you to go a step up and make an appeal to a higher court before a particular decision has been made. In this case, it's an interlocutory appeal related to qualified immunity, where the dispute in facts pertains to an officer's belief on something. How many cases does this apply to? That's just a crazy citation. I don't know. Maybe this is a really common thing, though. I don't know.
And in the category of what actually transpired between the officer and suspect.
Have you noticed when a judge already knows one side fucked up and the case is effectively over, they go harder on the opposing side to create an illusion of fairness, and they nitpick small things and chew their ass for it? No, I think they do want the other side to be fair. Like, our federal judges, from whatever I've seen, are generally like pretty good and pretty honest. Even if the other side fucks up, like, they'll make the other side be honest. They're not going to just say like, oh, these guys, it's not like court TV where it's like, oh, you fucked up so much, decision in favor of the plaintiff for $20,000. Fuck you, right? They'll still go to the other side and test them on their arguments to make sure that they're being fair and everything.
That those types of fact determinations were so highly fact-specific and subject to credibility determinations and inferences that they were more appropriately decided by a jury.
So your opposing counsel has made such arguments, and that muddles this up. But to the extent he's also arguing that assuming plaintiff's facts, there would be qualified immunity, which I think probably charitably read his briefs also argue, we have jurisdiction over that type of argument, don't we?
Yes or no?
Sure. I mean, I think
He's probably a loser, but
Sure.
that doesn't matter jurisdiction.
Okay.
You're willing to take a victory any way you can, right?
I think that the jurisdiction issue for us is more something that we thought contributed to our sentiment that this appeal was ill-advised. It was just one more reason it was ill-advised, because there are indications that jurisdiction is premature.
I think Mr. Filippi is coming around to that view.
Okay. And then the second reason we...
Oh, so the jurisdictional arguments would have to do with... I don't know if a lawyer can correct me here. So interlocutory appeal allows you to basically say there might be some things... I'm just everything I say 1%. Okay. For interlocutory appeal, you might want to appeal some things where it's like, I need a decision from a higher court on this before we even proceed with this case, because it might be completely fucked if we go down this road. So, for instance, when the Supreme Court in Trump v. I don't even remember the case, but the one where he got the criminal immunity ruling from, the assertion that the president basically can't commit crimes, all of that can be asserted via interlocutory appeal, because the entire point of that ruling was to say that if you probe the president's behavior or anything like this for criminal conduct, it's going to be destructive to the executive branch of the government. Therefore, you couldn't do an entire court case just to figure out if the president's actions were something that couldn't be touched by a criminal court. So you're allowed to win that on interlocutory appeal. I could try to charge the president with a crime. They would get an interlocutory appeal to have a higher court, the Supreme Court, review whether or not they felt like that action was even questionable, and then they could overturn it or throw it out without the lower courts even getting very far in that case. Remember, generally, the higher courts, they don't do they're not the court of first, there's a Latin term for this, I think, but they're not like the court of first look. Like they don't get to see all the facts and everything first. Those are usually determined by a lower court. And then once they get to the appeal court, they do a de novo, is what they said here, a de novo review, meaning that they start from the beginning and they go through all the facts and they do the law from the beginning, but they don't like debate the facts between whether what's right or wrong. It's just, I think they take the rulings from the lower courts as far as the facts go, and then they do a de novo law review at the appeal level. So the jurisdictional argument here is they're trying to do like an interlocutory appeal, meaning the jurisdiction is now shifted up to the appellate court, the higher court, the first court of appeals or the court of appeals. And she's saying that interlocutory appeal is no good. And that's why she's fighting on jurisdiction there. You guys don't have jurisdiction to hear this case because this type of appeal isn't appropriate. Therefore, the lack of jurisdiction. That's where this argument is coming from, I think, for anybody, I think.
The appeal is frivolous is that the law setting forth legal parameters for a Terry stop has been very well developed, well settled, and clearly established by this circuit in addition to other circuits.
So can I ask you a question about that? So I really only have one question for you that I'd like you to help me with, which is this Gallegos case. I think you can distinguish your case from Gallegos such that maybe we could say there is a constitutional violation here when there wasn't in Gallegos, but I'm having trouble understanding why Gallegos doesn't create enough uncertainty in the law to have there be qualified immunity on the investigatory stop part of your case. You have a lot of other claims, but on the one part about whether the police could detain him for long enough to figure out if he was the right person or was a criminal, it seems like Gallegos was very broad in saying what police could do to investigate something and detain someone in the meantime. And I wonder if it creates enough uncertainty in the law that there would be qualified immunity on that claim.
And I don't think it does, Your Honors, because Gallegos is one of dozens of cases that talk about when an officer may exceed the traditional parameters of a Terry stop.
So can you point to a case that has facts that are more similar to this one than Gallegos? Because Gallegos is somewhat similar.
Actually, it's not similar. In Gallegos...
Okay, can you point to another case than Gallegos that will help me see why you think they can't stop him like this?
Why they can't stop him? Johnson v. Campbell would be the best. It's out of the Third Circuit.
Okay, how about this court?
Don't. I think generally you want to stick the circuits like to, I think there are 15 or 13 circuits or whatever. You basically have your district courts, your federal district courts, and then there'll be collections of courts that are part of districts. That are part of circuits. And so, like famously, you'll hear a lot about like the Ninth Circuit, includes, I think, California, Washington. A lot of different circuits kind of have different specialties in terms of the type of law they deal with, just because of the cases that tend to run through those. So in the, like for California, I think you get like a lot of tech cases that go through the Ninth Circuit. People accuse them of being libs or woke or whatever. So you'll hear conservatives say like, oh, there's a Ninth Circuit case, blah, blah, blah. The Fifth Circuit contains Texas. So you'll hear a lot of people that want to try, like your government wants to try its habeas cases or immigration cases like in the Fifth Circuit or whatever, because they know that the judges there might be a little bit more favorable to them. You've got your DC Circuit, which deals with a lot of like, there's just like different circuits specialized in everything. If you're, I think generally speaking, when you're citing law, where you're trying to say you guys should rule this way and here are the cases that we're drawing from, you usually want to stay within your circuit unless there's an exceptional reason to go outside of it. That was a big problem that Joan and her AI bots were having at the beginning of our case, is she would cite a lot of stuff that was like completely out of the circuit that we're in here in Florida. And then she just tried to cite a case that, did she say from the Second Circuit? It was not from the same circuit they were in. So
Campbell would be the best. It's out of the Third Circuit.
Okay, how about this court?
This court would be U.S. versus Del Viso, U.S. versus Ricardo D., Washington v. Lambert, U.S. v. Miles, United States.
Tell me why.
Is she? She's not like a public defender or whatever, right? Because this is they were the ones suing here. They're the plaintiff. Damn, she does a lot of fucking homework for this.
I think they're more similar to the facts here than Gallegos.
Yes, because in cases, all of the cases where intrusive means have not been allowed are more like this case. In other words, Del Viso.
What is the best legal show? YoMom.com.
Viso involves a case.
I watched that, is it My Cousin Vinny?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watched that a while ago. That was a cute
That's
movie.
a great movie.
I think fuck. Oh, I've already complained about this. Oh, but you're still zooming. You're not caught up to me yet. But I'm starting to feel the age thing a little. I rewatched Shawshank Redemption, and I'm like, they just don't make them like they used to, you know?
You're booming out, huh?
We got, they're not playing.
Christ.
Has any YouTuber done a thing on like music and movies? They play so much background music in every fucking movie now to drive the story forward.
New ones?
And new ones. They're always playing music to drive the story forward. I wonder if you can find like if I were to look for any Oppenheimer talking in like this movie, is there any scene that doesn't have like music playing?
This is Oppenheimer.
Oh, like here you've got it.
Required sending some money and receiving a card.
So you feel like you can't have a moment anymore without like, there's got to be something in the background, people for here.
Well, like I feel like this is so pretentious, and I'm not like enough a cinephile to be this pretentious, but like sometimes it feels like they're afraid to let the actor's performance like carry the scene. Whereas before you have like actors who are communicating things with their dialogue, with their facial expressions, with the way their body is moving. Nowadays, you have so much more control over what's in the frame, and what the audience hears that you're doing is a lot of editing. It's a ton of music behind everything. It feels like it's more, I'm watching something more by the director, and like the actors kind of happen to be here, but the performances just don't shine as much, I guess. Yeah.
There's a chance that when we push that button,
I think the problem is when you watch old movies is you're watching the hits. You're watching the greatest of. Whereas you're comparing,
I agree with you, but like Nolan is going to be remembered as.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. He will.
Yeah. But there are still some new directors that are really good with this. I need to go back and rewatch things I don't know why, but like, oh God, I rewatched Kill Bill 1. What a great movie. Holy fuck.
Really good action movie, yeah.
It's just so... I wonder, who did he bring in for... what's the name of the... Ren?
American Army.
What did he bring... It must have been like a whole other studio for this animated section. All of this is just so good. But this whole movie is so good. This movie is amazing. Holy fuck. Tarantino just writes dialogue really well. And I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know why. Like I don't like Pulp Fiction much as a movie. I never did. But like all of the dialogue in this movie is just killer. when Samuel Jackson visits the
the burger place, or
when he visits those two kids in the dorm, does he look like a bitch? Tasty Sprite. What, can I have a tasty beverage? I don't know why, but I like all the dialogue that Tarantino writes is so good. But also in his movies, not very much music. I don't think carrying almost any of these scenes. It's all dialogue heavy and everything. But yeah, I don't know.
I feel like he's missed on his recent 2 movies for me. What was it? Hateful Eight plus Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I hated both of those movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, at least not using like music to fucking push every fucking scene forward. I don't know.
Where a car is pulled over and the suspects are ordered out at gunpoint. Delviso's ordered out at gunpoint, told to get on the ground, and cuffed.
And had there been a tip, like a 911 call in Delviso?
Delviso, the suspect had been under surveillance for drug trafficking. And in Delviso, the court found that those tactics constituted an arrest because they exceeded the bounds of Terry.
So in Delviso, there was more than a tip. There was actually...
Dude, being able to argue cases in front of judges, I wish for all this motion practice that the other side is doing, it would be so nice to be like dude, having Judge Becerra in front of us and like going back and forth was so nice. I understand they're busy.
That was awesome, yeah.
Yeah, I understand they're busy, but like, Jesus Christ, so much of the motion practice on the other side has just been so crazy. And then reading the opinions, obviously, because the cases that they cite are just so out of whack. They're just not even close. The fact patterns aren't the same. Sometimes they're from totally different circuits. Sometimes the legal arguments are just completely contrary to what they're even trying to say. Like, getting to actually have the judge's input on it is so nice. Yeah,
it's so cool to see. Like, I guess that when the judge is just there and is just like rocketing through your shit, it's just like, all right, this is denied, you can't do this, you gotta do it in 10 days, all right, let's see.
Yeah, Jesus.
So, evidence of an actual specific crime.
They had been surveilling Mr. Delviso because they thought he was part of a drug trafficking program. And when they pulled him over, they ordered him out of the car at gunpoint, I think told him to get on his knees or the ground, and cuffed him. The court found that was a de facto arrest. That was not a Terry stop because there was no indication that Mr. Delviso was armed, had just there hadn't just been a violent crime. There wasn't information suggesting that he was about...
Could you please go over some text from this police report about Haley Beck, famous TikToker sister, between herself and the student she groomed? Starts at page 107. It's Kino. Jesus. Okay.
To commit a violent crime, there was no information that he was carrying a weapon. And because we did not have...
I'm looking at Delviso, so I apologize for not remembering exactly, but it seems like the Delviso issue was, it says, there was no evidence suggesting that Delviso was particularly dangerous, especially once he had stepped out of the van, had been frisked, and was lying on the ground. So I'm not sure the court thought it was improper to stop him. The issue was just that after that, they drew their weapons.
They did not think it was improper to stop him.
So how does this help you with the seizure of your client here for some time while they investigate? I mean, no weapons went wrong.
There is no authority that I have found in this case, this circuit's precedent or any other circuit's precedent, that allows a citizen to be stopped and held just because an officer needs to investigate something.
Except that's kind of, I mean, isn't that what happened in Gallegos?
Well, no, Gallegos was a situation where the officers made a violent crime had occurred, first off, and minutes later, the officers in a chopper see a man walk out of the victim's home, or near the victim's home, get in a car and flee. The man matches the description of the man who tried to break into the house. So the officers have reasonable suspicion to stop the person. There's been a report by a victim of an actual crime, a violent crime. Somebody's trying to break into my house. I have a restraining order against
I wonder for this cops case, I wonder what the original 911 call was.
I fear for my life and limb. After that report, the officers who are overhead see a man matching the description flee in, I think, a pickup truck or a vehicle.
He's not fleeing, right? It turns out he's not even the person. He's driving away.
Right. But a crime reported, and it's a crime.
I feel like if I was ever arguing, first of all, mute your mic. Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
I feel like if I was ever arguing a case and the like opposing counsel and the judges are like laughing back and forth and giggling, I feel like I would just kill myself and go. I feel like that's gotta be like the worst feeling. Like, God damn it, I'm fucked.
Life and limb. So, the officers have reasonable suspicion that criminal activity is afoot. They think this man is part of it. So they stop him, and they stop him by ordering him out of the truck at gunpoint. He complained not that this wasn't a proper Terry stop. He complained that those were excessive measures because I'm not armed, I'm not even the right guy. I think what the court was saying is, well, there had just been a violent crime. You were believed to be the right guy. You were believed to be fleeing, and these beliefs were all reasonable.
So I think you're making a good argument about why we could say there's a constitutional violation in this case, but not, even though there wasn't in Gallegos. But isn't it close enough that a police officer could think Gallegos meant that they could stop someone while they investigate, especially if they don't draw their guns? I mean, it's at least, it seems at least arguable to me, which I think is what qualified immunity is about.
I don't think so, Your Honor, because I think Gallegos is taken out of context. There are too many cases authored by this court that lay out the parameter of proper Terry stop.
Isn't one of the distinguishing factors of Gallegos is that this man is outside his own house?
Sure, yes.
This is not somebody that's on a highway, on a street, or traveling in a car. At that point, what they do is they can get behind the wheel and drive off.
Did they know, though, at this point that it was his house? I mean, they were following a tip that someone...
He came out of the house, right?
He was seen crossing the street and entering a vehicle right outside of the subject house.
But in your client's case?
In my client's case, there's not even a report of crime. In my client's case, you have a third party.
But he is seen coming out of the house.
My client?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. He's seen coming out of his house after having...
This is not a highway situation where you're in a highway and he's got a vehicle. Is there a vehicle involved?
There's a vehicle involved in Gallegos.
In this case?
No. There is no...
So it's not like he's about to drive off. He's about to...
There is not a single scintilla of evidence that my client is attempting to flee.
Scintilla?
Not a scintilla.
Not the tiniest bit.
From being...
He was attacked because he did not place the contents of his right hand, which was his military ID and his wallet, into the palm. This was done. He didn't do this, and he got attacked. And my point is that Gallegos bears no similarity.
Right, but we're talking about the detention after the attack. We've got the attack, and that's one issue. And then he gets placed in the police car, right? He tries to handcuff. Are there any further facts to justify that?
No, because all intrusive means, any intrusive mean on a Terry stop, has to be justified.
He's not getting up and running away.
Right. So all intrusive means on a Terry stop have to be justified by the Washington versus Lambert factors or by other factors that maybe haven't been developed yet that contribute to a reasonable belief that the officer or some other party safety is threatened or that the person is going to flee. There's just no justification on Terry stop for handcuffs, force, or restraint outside of specifically identifiable circumstances that put the officer's safety at risk or somebody else's safety. Like in Gallegos, I think the court did not elaborate a lot because I don't think they saw it as a close call, and I think Appellate relies a lot on dicta. But Gallegos did involve a situation where somebody, the victim caller, was feeling threatened for life and limb and said that a restraining order was violated, and she thought her father was going to try to hurt her. So there was a sense that this person, the suspect, that yes was misidentified, but they don't know that this person is a threat to not only potentially the officers, but to this victim. So Gallegos is just, that I think the appellant's reliance on Gallegos shows how little authority there is for their position, because it is not remotely close to these facts. If I'm enough, or shall I continue?
We're out of time.
We're out of time. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Your Honor.
Out of time?
Before allowing the deputy's attorney to leave, the judge notifies him that he'll be sending a recording of this proceeding to his supervisors.
Case is arguably submitted.
Mean.
I see that the county counsel is Charles McKee. We'll have him watch argument this one.
Can I want this judge.
Yeah,
Not that I have any problem with any of mine. But hell yeah.
Just a month after hearing the arguments, the Ninth Circuit affirmed the denial of qualified immunity, stating that there were genuine issues of material fact and that the case must proceed. The court went further to say that the appeal may be frivolous and ordered Deputy Rodriguez to justify why sanctions shouldn't be imposed, forcing him to pay back the attorney fees and costs for Nick. The court held a post-appeal sanctions proceeding. Nick was seeking over...
Wait, okay, where are my lawyers? Because I feel like... Okay. I'm going to agree with Kafka on this one thing, okay? And I love every lawyer... Or, I'm sorry. I love every judge, and I respect every person ever, okay? However, the judge issued a show cause in my case for the plaintiff to explain why they thought it prudent to skip their deposition. And they failed to show good cause. They had nothing for that. What was the point of issuing the show cause if there was going to be no sanction or penalty that followed, though? What was the point of that? Because I feel like they completely and totally failed on that, but it didn't matter. What was the point? I don't know.
Problem? Was it the same judge or was it the magistrate?
It might have been the magistrate that issued the show cause. I don't remember. But even so, I mean, it's a judge on the case.
Yeah,
you take
would
these
see,
seriously.
like,
Yeah,
working in tandem, etc.
For $100,000 for attorney's fees, plus additional costs. And in the end, the court awarded the fees and costs against the defendants. And now, with the case ready to go back to trial, minus the officer's qualified immunity, almost 5 years after the incident had occurred, Monterey County finally settled with Nick, keeping the amount of dollars taken from the taxpayers to pay for this circus confidential. And in October of 2017, the case was formally dismissed with prejudice, citing that the parties had come to an agreement. This has always been one of my favorite proceedings to watch, so let me know what you think. And if there are any others that you think I should take a look at, let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video.
Wow, thanks, bro. Removed by moderator for Hassan Thread. Uh-oh. What was it about? Another out-of-touch millionaire take.
Click the mirror.
What's a mirror?
Put the public sub in the bag, bro.
Uh-oh.
That's it.
Uh-oh.
$7.25 an hour. Hello. That is if you ever make something of yourself, because that you're maxed out.
Uh-oh.
Jesus Christ.
Uh-oh.
Look at his brother. Look at the neighbor. The whole neighborhood's looking at you like, damn, what a disappointment this has been. Oh my Lord. Chop chop, chicken tendy pub sub. Now.
That's exactly why they're doing it. A white male. Oh, a white male. He's so scary.
You come,
What the f- is wrong with
you come
people?
out with, watch your mouth.
Like, how do you live with
Chad said, what the fuck, bro? I'm currently at my Publix deli job. Lamau. Your name is Deli Meat? That's crazy. You named yourself Deli Meat.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. Publix workers are the front line.
Fuck, don't. What? Does this really matter that much?
No, it was a nothing burger.
This was a nothing burger. Holy shit. Destiny, you then have to move for sanctions pursuant to violating the show cause for contempt. The court doesn't sue a sponsor grant sanctions. Then they get a hearing before sanctions because of due process. Well, the show cause was issued because they skipped a deposition after it was noticed with the court. I thought that would be a penalty from the court, not from us. Because the court... I don't think... Did we file a motion saying they skipped their depo, or did the court just automatically issue a show cause? I don't remember. No, the court must have issued... We must have filed something because the court would know they skipped their deposition unless we filed something, I guess. I don't know. Oh, boy. It's Vox, so you know it's going to be fucking retarded. Here we go. Spoiler. It's not about Israel. The real problem with Hassan Piker is that he loves people too much. He's too much in favor.
Too handsome.
Yeah, too handsome and too hot. Destiny, now when the case is going very much in your favor, undeniably so, drama frogs still love to focus on other things. One thing some obsess about is that in your initial response, you said something along the lines of, I know so much about other streamers regarding similar things you were accused of. Obviously a small throwaway line, but the focus is that you're hiding damning info about people to use as a weapon. Are you going to say something to that in your write-up? I'm probably going to address mostly the stuff around the Weird Snarker community stuff and then the stuff around my court case. I don't know if I'll... The problem is people love to hang on to like 1 or 2 line comments and try to blow a whole thing out of that. I'm pretty sure that if you read my thing in chat, I think I say something along the lines of like, if I'm whatever, then I know like 20 other fucking rapists or whatever in the streaming community. The goal of that was not to say that I'm a rapist who's like these 20 other people I know. I'm pretty sure the joke I was making with that statement is like, if we're saying that this is like a crime or a horrible, terrible thing or whatever, like so many people do this. I don't know what my message was about, but it probably had to do with fucking trading videos with people and fucking each other or whatever on camera or whatever. Not non-consensually, not of children, not of whatever the fuck else, but I have to go back and read my particular chat comment at the time. Okay, what is it about Hassan? Wait. The fuck? Oh. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. Wait, Levitz. That's a Jewish name, right? Is it?
Caroline Levitz? That sounds Jewish to me.
Oh, no. What could be a self-hating Jew? Who knows? Let's go. Hassan Piker is exceptionally good at ranting about politics while playing video games. He doesn't even play games anymore. That was... I can't believe he
was never a gamer, man.
No, yeah, I can't believe he skinwalked me so hard on that. In the late
never a fucking game.
Dude, the audacity to sit there and be like, so I had this idea of like, what if you combined video games and... I'm like, are we being real right now? Is this what... People exaggerate the fuck out of the story, but who was it? Tesla and Edison or whatever, where Reddit is like, Edison stole every single idea from Tesla. Oh my God. In the late 20th century, this would have made him a fun, if exhausting, hang. In today's era, it has rendered him one of the most influential left-wing commentators in America, an increasingly popular surrogate for progressive candidates, and a flashpoint in the Democratic Party's internal debates over Israel and platforming. Israel! In recent weeks, the center-left columnist Ezra Klein, a Vox co-founder, defended Piker against charges of anti-Semitism, while the flagship podcast of resistant liberalism, Pod Save America, had the streamer on its show. And even resolutely pro-Israel Democratic politicians such as Rahm Emanuel and Gavin Newsom have suggested they would appear on Piker's live stream. Many centrist Democrats have excused Israel's subjugation of Palestinians in the West Bank and its mass murder of civilians in Gaza, but Piker is prone to similar moral errors. On topics as varied as Chinese communism, Russian imperialism, and Islamist terrorism, Piker's commentary is often just as ethically rudderless as what it claims to oppose. If Washington's jingoists downplay or rationalize the crimes of America and Israel, Piker does much the same for those nations' adversaries. Oh, nice. The best word for Piker's ideology may be campism, a strain of leftism that judges foreign movements and regimes more by their degree of hostility toward the West than by their adherence to progressive values. Such tribalism is poisonous, whether it surfaces on the left, right, or center. When political movements decide that their allies' abuses are forgivable because their enemies' crimes are so much worse, they open the door to atrocities. Cute. Okay, good job. We stand this guy. Israel, back on our good side. Thank you, Jews. Thank you.
I don't know. Those settlers, I don't like them. I watched a documentary last night on Louis Theroux. He went back after the October 7th thing and went into like the settlements and stuff. Mm-hmm. And there was this fucking lady. Let me get her name because I sent it to you. Daniela Weiss. She's like apparently like the godmother of like the fucking settler movement. And this lady's crazy. She was saying that she's like had a hand in like every one of the fucking settlements, and now she wants to like bring it into Gaza and start doing like settlements in there. Mm-hmm. That lady's nuts.
Yeah, not surprising. I think I was typing in DGG chat after we went to. I think it was the first deep settlement we went to. I don't remember. It was when we were with the. I want to say Eliza Schaefer, but that's not right. We were, it was the first like deep settlement we'd gone to, and we interviewed the people there. And I think that was the, Yishai Fleischer, I think that was it. It was the first time we went to one of these to speak to like a Jewish person. And I think that's when me and Lonerbox came away, or at least for I think I was writing in chat for this. This shit is fucked and will never be solved. Because these people are crazy. And they were like, these were Americans that had moved out here too. So
yes, yeah, there were a lot of those too.
Crazy.
Like they believe like it is.
They have like a religious divine duty to be out
yeah.
there. Yeah, and they're there to save their country, and they have to like build a family out there, and they have to like expand the territory and everything. Yeah.
And they're all walking around with fucking like massive guns.
Yeah,
too.
They all have AK-40s or M4s or AR-15s or whatever, and they're keeping.
But what's so sad is like it seems like the IDF's out there just to like kind of bully the Palestinians who are out there. I don't know. They're there to quote unquote protect the settlers, but it seems like they're just used, I don't know, for evil the whole fucking time.
It really depends on the IDF gets a bad rap basically from all sides, although it might have changed as of recently, like over the past since October 7th at least, that maybe the IDF is more pro settler than not. But in the years after 2000, after the Second Intifada, when the IDF goes into the West Bank, the IDF was fighting with everybody. If you were an outposter, they'll tell you to tear your shit down and they'll kick you out and they'll tell you to get the fuck out. If Palestinians and Israelis are fighting, they try to separate them. If there's like people will say that the IDF was trying to prevent press from going into the West Bank because they didn't want them to see the atrocities. The reality is that the IDF knows that if some retarded Western journalist, stumbles into Jenin and has no idea what's going on and is like taken hostage or some shit, they're going to have to go in. People are going to die. It's going to be an international incident. They just prefer that no tourists go to some of the sketchier places in Area A of the kind of Palestinian villages or cities in the West Bank. But I think generally both sides were pretty anti-IDF. Like the outposters and settlers, the deep settler people didn't like them there. Yeah, because the IDF doesn't like them stirring up shit. But it might be that as of recently I've heard that as a matter of policy, the IDF has gotten more friendly towards the idea or concept of settlers or outposts. It's a really hard one to know without doing a lot of research on that, though, because you can always find examples of people that are doing dumb shit or that are more sympathetic towards one side than they should be or whatever. So, yeah. For instance, under Sharon, two huge examples. So under Sharon, right, he was like the conservative prime minister during the Second Intifada. He ordered the full, they call it disengagement, but that's basically when they took every single Jewish person out of the Gaza Strip. That was at the IDF had to do that. That was by force. There were Jewish people crying outside their homes as they were all getting ripped out of their homes and forced to leave.
But it seems like they needed to be kicked the fuck out of there.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And then under Sharon's leadership, during the Second Intifada and a little bit after, although Sharon, I think, stroked out and was replaced in 2005 or 2006, there was this accusation that there was support from the Israeli government in expanding settlements in the West Bank that the Israeli government used to deny. But then there was a big, I wish I could remember this later, I have it in my notes somewhere, but there was a big investigation. Was the Israeli government secretly funneling money or doing things to help West Bank settlers and outpost people, like the deep settlers and the outpost people? And the findings were weird because it came back that despite what the government was saying, there was support from people in the government helping people in the West Bank expand their shit. However, that support was covert and it was done in opposition to what the government policy was. So there would be the policy was we're not helping these people. They're crazy. It's hurting Israel or whatever. But then there were a lot of high level officials and stuff who were oh yeah, of course, we would never do that. Haha. And then they were trying to help people or were successful in funneling resources, money, or having people turn the other eye on shit going on in the West Bank. So there's always been this huge internal struggle in Israel over what do we do with the West Bank? Do we have a messianic obligation to re-inhabit the lands of Judea and Samaria, or is this going to destroy our country? And as time has gone on, I think more and more the settler people are kind of winning out.
Yeah, in the video is the Daniela lady. Louis asks her can you you say you have so much influence, can you call Netanyahu? And then she's well, I can call his aides, if I wanted to, right now. But then they go on to talk about, and he's well, does, Netanyahu, do they support it? And she's of course they support it. They just can't say that they support it. But, they love what we're doing. We're giving, the government an excuse, in the future. We're going out there and we're, creating the path for them to finally have, the means / the will to, go out there and actually, do it. So, I don't know. It just seemed pretty...
Not good.
Pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah, she could be exaggerating or she could be honest. It's hard to know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But based on what I've heard of the current government, that sounds more true than not true. That the current government would favor more expansion into the West Bank formally.
It seems I don't know, in the video too, it seems they're the outposts. They're not tearing them down. They're just letting them kind of exist, which it seems contradictory to kind of what you were saying, but again, you were saying it could have changed, times could have changed, etc. But that seems the really bad thing is the outposts, they're going, just random fucking people starting them, they're existing, and then nobody's doing anything about it. They're just letting them.
Well, it depends on how far along the outpost is. Like I said, it could have changed recently though, but the way that it works is that in the past, if the IDF catches you trying to establish some shit or whatever and you don't have much there, then they'll make you tear it all down and they kick you the fuck out, or they just kick the Jewish people out and then the Palestinians will come and clear it all out. But if you can set up enough stuff, especially if you have like, some people living there, like you've got like a trailer or some shit. Well, now like the IDF can't like kick you out without it being a huge fucking thing. And they know that as long as they get enough of a foothold that they can start building more and more and more. And then at some point, this is just going to become another settlement now because the Palestinians can't come in and fight you because the IDF will be called. And ultimately they will defend the Jewish people there over the Palestinians. And so that you just end up in a fucky situation, yeah. But I don't remember where I read it, but I thought I heard over the past like 3 years especially that Netanyahu has been a lot more explicitly favorable to the people that are pushing deeper and deeper into the West Bank. So it could be that they've changed some of their policy on that, or they're looking the other way a lot more on it.
Apparently settlements are illegal under international law.
That's a really complicated.
Complicated?
People like to say that, and it's like strictly true. The real issue is that this is one of those things where both sides like to see it their own way. So so here's the issue, okay? Is that if I am fighting a war and I'm occupying a part of your country, I can't settle people in there. That's a violation of international law. You can't do that because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Am I conquering your territory, right? So if we fought a war with Mexico, we took over some parts of Mexico, we can't start moving in American citizens. It's illegal. You can't do that. So under that framing of international law, you would say that if these are, and Israel calls them the occupied territory, well, depending on how far right you are, call them the occupied territories. Well, if they're occupied, well, then how can you settle people down in there? It seems like you're settling soldiers and civilians down in occupied territory. So that would be a violation of international law. So the way that Israel skirts this is Israel says, well, Palestine was not a country, which is technically true. They're not really occupying land in a military sense from like a foreign power. Therefore, it's not really an occupation that they can't settle people into. This is kind of their territory. But then the hard part is that if they want to make that argument, then you have to go to well, how is this not then apartheid? Because it sounds like you have, or maybe not apartheid, but at the very least, you have like 4 million people that are living in lands that you say is part of your country, but none of them have democratic rights. Well, what's going on there? But then Israel tries to make the argument, well, they're not really like our people. It's kind of like a separate thing that we're trying to get worked out. And it's like, well, okay, well, if it's a separate thing you're trying to get worked out, then how can you settle people there in an occupied territory? So it's like this dance. The reality is that like nobody's occupied territory for 100 years, right? So it's like there's no, it's just a weird, everything about it is just, there's not like, everything about it is just very unique. There's not like a record of like two people disputing the same land, but then living there for 80 years together, basically. Yeah.
So what it is it's fucked.
Yeah.
It's all fucked.
It's kind of fucked.
Yeah, that shit's fucked.
The issue is that for them to, the issue is that both of them need to reach some kind of agreement on a two-state solution, but one, nobody there wants a two-state solution. And then two, both of them would have to be willing to give things that the other side is probably not willing to even budge on. And then three, both sides are fully incentivized to continue fighting indefinitely, where Palestinians feel like they never have real political losses because they can always say, well, they're in violation of international law. We should go back to the 67 borders, fuck all of this bullshit. And then Israel says, okay, yeah, I guess maybe we're violating laws. I don't know, but we're getting more and more people. The West Bank is becoming more and more ours, and the Palestinians are getting more and more fucked materially. So, yeah.
Would it be a lot easier if there wasn't like where it's split between the West Bank? Like, would it be a lot easier if Gaza did was just Israel wanted Gaza and they got it, and then all the Gazans just moved to like the right, or Israel got the West Bank and then everybody just moved to Gaza? Would that make it easier because then you could have like clearer borders versus now the Palestinian people are split up in like two different sections of that area?
I don't know. I actually don't know how the Palestinians feel about Gaza. Like, if they actually give that much of a fuck about Gaza itself versus just having some kind of state. But like, I don't think they would agree to anything without some kind of like deal in place. Like, you have to have something in place.
Mm-hmm. Because it seems like it'd be a lot cleaner if everybody moved out of Gaza and went to like the West Bank and like created like a Palestine there. The borders would make a lot more sense. It wouldn't be divided.
Yeah, it could be cleaner. However, the Israelis would never want to give up the West Bank because for Israel, Gaza doesn't really mean anything, and it's whatever. They've already got ports and shit. It's not like they need Gaza strategically or religiously. Yeah. But the West Bank is like right-winger Zionists, you can always tell they're always dog whistles to tell what people think about Israel. Whenever you hear somebody say, whenever you're talking to a far-right, like Israeli person, they'll never call it the West Bank. They always call it Judea and Samaria.
Judea.
They'll always say that, yeah. And for those
That's
people...
what they all kept saying in the documentary.
Yeah, they would never... Moving more Palestinians into those lands would be like... they'd kill themselves.
Yeah, but there's so many fucking Palestinians in there right now. Like, that is like... I don't know.
Yeah, pretty inconvenient for them.
It seems really retarded. Especially like the walking around like the cities that they have and like the IDFs in there, like creating like checkpoints and shit. Like it just seems really, really, really retarded.
Yeah, so the cities themselves, I think, are run okay. The Palestinians, some of them don't like the idea that like the IDF can come in at the behest of the Palestinian Authority to clean up stuff. When you talk about checkpoints, the big issue with checkpoints is that like there's two different kinds of checkpoints. So one is that getting into Israel from a Palestinian checkpoint is very, very, very fucking annoying. It's like it could be 2 or 3 hours that you have to wait to get into Israel from the West Bank. It's just, I don't know why. It's just really, really fucking obnoxious. However, I think this was after the second Intifada, or maybe it was after October 7th. I don't know how long they've been there. There are so many checkpoints. So you have Area A. This is area that is completely under Palestinian control. But then the areas that link Area A is called Area B, and then Area C is the area that Israel is still allowed to occupy. I think there are a lot of checkpoints that are set up at like Area B now, where if you want to go from one Palestinian city to the other, you've got to go through these Israeli IDF-run checkpoints for who the fuck knows what reason. But the really annoying thing, so not only do you have to go through these checkpoints, which is like, why? A lot of times these checkpoints are closed. And so if they're closed, like a drive that might have been from Hebron going up to, I don't know, someplace north, like it might be that it was like a 20 or 30 minute drive before, but now you got to drive like 40 minutes out of the way. And it's like an hour drive just because that arbitrary checkpoint that you're not even sure why it's set up is closed. And it's just like, yeah, I think there were 107 of these like added. I don't remember if this was after the second Intifada or after October 7th, but it's just like a lot more annoying fucking shit, yeah.
Yeah, in the documentary, it wasn't even like getting into Israel proper. It was like it was like there was a city where Palestinians were living. There's like 30,000 of them there or something. And then they have like different checkpoints for different type of people. And then I think an issue in the documentary was the IDF / the Israelis were moving like pretty much day by day to weekly of where the Palestinians could actually like walk through. Like in this area, there was like an Israeli like visitor center, and it used to be like the Palestinians could walk to it / through it / that road. But then when Louis was there, they were like, "Oh no, you're Palestinian. You have to get back behind like this line or whatever." And then he walked back there, and then Louis went up to him and he was like, "Were you just doing that for show, like to show us that you couldn't like walk that way anymore?" And he was like, "No, that's like new. Like they've created like new boundaries or whatever." So it just seems really retarded that I don't know.
I would have to check the Louis Theroux stuff. From what I saw, was definitely
he's way more Palestinian.
Oh yeah, and the Palestinians are very good at propaganda, so they will lie about shit and they will exaggerate shit because it works. But also there is like a lot of like bad, retarded IDF shit or Israeli shit. So it's hard, sometimes sorting through like what's actually happening or true is like very annoying.
Yeah.
Somebody said, Dustin, you keep saying Israelis will never give up the West Bank. We voted for it explicitly in the past, and it can and has to happen again. Most Israelis aren't religious and don't give a shit about the West Bank as long as they feel safe enough to give it up, and they did in the past. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. When did Israel ever vote to give up the West Bank? Number one. Number two, way back in the day, you were talking way, way, way fewer, like 1/7 the amount of people that are in the West Bank now. I have no idea what you mean by Israel is ready to give up the West Bank. I've never heard Netanyahu say anything even remotely close to this. So
I don't know. It seems like these religious extremists would fucking kill him if he wanted to give up the West Bank.
Well, I don't even know if he would want to. With Barack motherfucker. I don't know what you mean. I just don't know what you're referring to. When you say with Ehud Barak, you mean like at Camp David or Top of Summit? Even that wasn't fully giving up the West Bank. Most of that was going to be kept via land swaps. But keep in mind also that under Barak, there were, was it 100,000 people? How many Jews lived in... Fuck, I should know these numbers. How many Jews lived in the West Bank under Ehud Barak? Lonerbox says Israelis voted for Barak, who ran with a two-state solution campaign. That's true, but I don't know if that meant completely giving up all of the West Bank. But I mean, I think that like there should have been an agreement in 2000. Arafat fucked everything, and now
apparently there's 190,000 to 193,000, and now there's 500+ thousand Israelis who live there.
I thought it was 700K plus now. Maybe, and 200 in the past sounds right, if that's what you said.
Oh yeah, there are. Settlers in the West Bank is generally estimated to be 700K.
Okay.
Approximately 530,000 live in the West Bank, excluding East Jerusalem, including East Jerusalem at 700K.
Gotcha. Justin, you keep saying Israelis will never give up the West. Oh, wait. Wrong comment. Wait, what? Netanyahu will never, but he's not the end all of Israeli politics. Barak ran on promoting a two-state solution of the West Bank. Yeah, and right after Barak was the Second Intifada, which I think radicalized a lot of Jewish people living in Israel. Not to, understandably so. But like, you've had Netanyahu's been your prime minister for like what 20 out of the last 25 years. Like, how are you going to say? I'm not saying he is the end all and be all of Israeli politics, but like, holy fuck. I think he was from 95 to 99. I think he was replaced by, was he? Actually, I don't remember if he wasn't. Hold on, let me check. Hold on.
In the documentary, it made it seem like that the Palestinians are all just super nice people, and they're never actually doing any violence towards the settlers, etc. How actually realistic is this?
It's retarded as fuck. But
Okay,
you can
so
tell
there is
for
like Palestinian violence. Yeah.
Absolutely, of course. This is just this. But again, it's always one-sided as fuck. Like the Second Intifada. Like the Second Intifada, in my opinion, it was basically like October 7th. Basically, Palestinians are like, hey, nothing's happening. We're getting increasingly fucked. We feel like nothing is going to change. Oslo's failing. We're not getting our own state. So now we're going to do a big thing. And, you know, we're going to start blowing everybody up. And they kind of did. But like Israel was not playing well with like their West Bank stuff. So, I mean, like they kind of like contributed to the fuck ups too. There were huge terrorist attacks on both sides. Everything was just fucked. But this is the big issue that I have with the historical take. Arafat uniquely fucked everybody here, and nobody on the Palestinian side ever wants to acknowledge that they've just, at least prior to Abbas, and even Abbas is questionable, prior to Abbas, Palestinians have not had a good leader to negotiate with for peace. I'm sorry, but Arafat was just fucking dog shit, and no Palestinian will ever fucking acknowledge that. Arafat fucked the whole Gulf state, all the Gulf states, the whole Arab Muslim world, I think, probably looked at Arafat like he was fucking crazy for him to walk away from so many fucking deals over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. He didn't give a fuck about solving anything. And he died in 2002. I think the Palestinian theory is that Mossad secretly gave him AIDS. I'm not joking. They have a lot of crazy theories about shit. But
Jesus Christ.
They also believe that like Hamas, I don't know if it's Hamas or the PA, people theorize that like Israel controls all the animals. That like they see birds flying and it gets like a Mossad bird, or like dolphins, or like Mossad dolphins. I think Egypt spread this theory when they lost the 6-Day War, that like dolphins were carrying torpedoes. It's just retarded as fuck. That like every single fucking animal is just.
I think I've actually heard the bird one. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Mossad also did some crazy operations. I think it was the Second Intifada. There was a bomb maker. I think it was the Second Intifada where they somehow got like explosives or something in this guy's fucking phone, and they managed to trace him and call him. And when he was on the phone with like his uncle or dad or something, they made his phone explode. So I mean, I don't know. They've done
pager shit is the craziest thing.
Hezbollah pager shit is crazy.
Seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they made a profit on it.
Maybe. Yeah. That was pretty. I'm still waiting for the fuck. Who's the young fat funny guy? Wolf of Wall Street. Super bad.
Fuck, I know his name.
Jonah Hill. I'm waiting for the Jonah Hill movie on that, like Moneyball or whatever, where they do the pager thing.
Be a sweet movie.
Would be.
We're living in a crazy time for movies, man. There's gonna be some interesting ones coming out.
Yeah. Read about these operations. What is this? Poison toothpaste. To kill the Palestinian militant lead, Wadi Haddad secretly, the Mossad switched his toothpaste with an extremely slow-acting poison. He started getting sick and eventually went to Europe for treatment, bringing his toothpaste with him. Nothing was helping him. He died in agony, and it was ruled off as a natural. Only many years later was the real cause of death discovered. Really, though? Hold on. How credible are these stories? What was the poison?
Who would be swapping the toothpaste? It'd have to be like his wife or something, right?
Well, you could do. I mean, I imagine you could get a person to do that, but like a slow acting poison in your toothpaste that would have to be injected. I mean, I guess theoretically you could make the prop.
It'd be in the guns or whatever, yeah.
Would he really take it with him? I don't remember how anal airplanes were about toothpaste and all that shit. You wouldn't bring like a travel size one? I don't know. I'm not sure. Metal poisoning? Yeah, but what would the... Oh, could it be like... You could put like mercury in a toothpaste thing, maybe? I don't know. Maybe. Gold like in the House episode? Oh, true. Where we find out part of House's mysterious past. That he was a military brat who went tomb diving. Let me get a Red Bull 1 sec. I didn't have a Red Bull yesterday, so I might drink 2 today.
Ooh.
I don't want to be crazy, but I might. I'll think about it.
You might. I know you guys might be tired of Israel-Palestine, but holy shit. It's interesting because of how absolutely fucked it is from every side. And how there just isn't like a... There's like no good solution, which might make it boring, but holy fuck, it's like... I don't know. Maybe it's boring because the end of it is like, yeah, it's fucked. Like, that's what you keep stumbling upon. It's like, yeah, I don't know what to do. That shit's fucked. Press him on why he's not covering it anymore. I say we send the US into the West Bank. You know what I'm saying? We get our soldiers in there, we clear it out, draw some lines, get the chalk. Say, get out of here. Get out of here, settlers. Get the hell out of here. Define clear? Or there'd be a clear chalk mark on the ground.
There's also a lot of kind of annoying like real life symbolism if you live in the West Bank too, where like all of the outposts and the settlements or whatever tend to be at the top of kind of like these, you wouldn't call them mountains, maybe big hills, I guess. So if you're a Palestinian, you're living in a valley looking up at your like heavily fortified Israeli settlement that's there.
Yeah, it's really weird. And the highest point has to be like a Jewish temple or whatever they said.
Oh, sure. I don't know about that. But yeah, I know they control all the high, like the hills or whatever is generally where the settlements will be. And then you also have, like whenever there's like power issues or water issues in the West Bank, it's never to the Israeli settlements or anything. It's always just the Palestinians that get fucked on it. So it's kind of weird. Sorry, how long has Netanyahu been? 3 years here.
How does he keep getting in power? Do they not have term limits over there?
4, 5, 15, 18. It's about 18 years out of the past 25. I think 30 years. No, not really. Or I mean, they can keep voting him. He's just really, really good at building a coalition. So you have to get a lot of different parties together to have control of the government, basically.
What were the medical consequences?
I was terrified.
It's the taxpayer-funded system that's supposed to get you through your final days.
I didn't feel protected. I didn't feel safe.
Hospice care to help those who are dying and their families.
They said you're in...
I feel like when it comes to old people, this is when you have to be the most careful because old people are always getting scammed. And if you want to build scams... targeting old people is always the way to go.
Hospice. And I said, what? What are you talking about? Do I look like I'm not? So she goes, no.
Kim with CBS News. Do you mind opening the door?
A CBS News investigation found it is ripe for fraud, especially in California.
Where's Nick Shirley?
What are you talking about? Do I look like I'm not? So she goes, no.
Kim with CBS News. Do you mind opening the door?
A CBS News investigation found it is ripe for fraud, especially in California.
Yep, you can't throw a rock without hitting a hospice.
Hundreds of red flagged providers vanishing overnight.
Well, there's no hospice there.
Companies accused of overbilling.
How does that make you feel?
Real patients being denied care.
Really sad, because I talk to them every day. I'm sorry.
Costing hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars.
You can't explain that. There's no explaining that.
What's being done about it?
Is my government doing anything to protect my taxpayer dollars?
I share it. I have the frustration.
And why it's costing so much more than money.
It makes me lose faith in the system that is built to protect us.
Pickleball.
Oh, you got a point.
So that Netanyahu has cancer? Wait, what kind of cancer? What?
He doesn't have cancer. He had a thing in his...
Underwent treatment for undisclosed prostate cancer.
Yeah, prostate. They took it out, though.
That's not even... Prostate cancer is not even real cancer, okay? Wait, what the fuck does your prostate even do? Because I feel like old people can get it removed and it doesn't even matter. Like your whole prostate.
Let's remove your prostate. See how that goes.
Huh. I'd remove yours, but then I can't. Never mind. Jesus.
What is wrong with you, man?
Is it just for semen-related stuff? What is Morbler Jewing out over in chat? The war criminal guy was elected 8 times, but he absolutely doesn't represent Israeli society. Okay. I mean, if you want to say that, that's fine. But then do you acknowledge that Arafat, who was just a fucking military commander, was the leader of the Palestinians for, what, 4 fucking decades? Is he supposed to represent them? The guy who apparently was too stupid or retarded to ever come to any agreements or make any deals with Israel resembling any kind of long-term peace agreement? Or... I mean, that's also the same argument that Israelis use. Oh, you want to say Netanyahu represents every Israeli? Well, fine, then Hamas represents the Palestinians. Like, I mean, what? Okay.
That was great. Let's do it again.
Lynn, you are old and in hospice, so I would be a little bit more proud about my accomplishments, but
69-year-old Dr. Lynn Ayani just ran me up and down the pickleball court. But 2 years ago, she was, according to Medicare records, dying in hospice care.
I was in treatment as physical therapy, simply, because I had a kind of an injury on the pickleball court. The administrator at the office was like, they're not going to pay any of your claims.
Bro.
Injury on the pickleball court.
How? Is this guy like fucking like getting a pump before he goes? Jesus Christ. Why are you sending the shredded Asian dude? Jesus. Can we chill? My God. I'm here to talk about hospice. Open up!
The administrator at the office was like, they're not going to pay any of your claims. And I was shocked. They said you're in hospice. And I said, what? What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Do I look like I'm in hospice? She goes, no, I know you. And when
Ayani's Medicare number had been stolen and used by a company to fraudulently enroll her in hospice care, which she obviously didn't need.
Whoa!
That meant Ayani had no coverage and no easy way of getting unenrolled from hospice.
Obviously, this was...
Wait, what's the difference between pickleball and tennis?
Pickleball is for people who are unathletic and are retarded.
It's just a different court size? Okay.
A major hassle, lots of phone calls,
Thanks,
lots of paperwork.
I don't know why Moon was a hater there.
Medical consequences.
I was terrified. I mean, you know, something can happen. That's why you have health insurance of any kind. And just to think you're literally without coverage because of some ridiculous, fraudulent thing.
My name is Adam Yamaguchi. I'm with CBS News.
A CBS News investigation found an industry ripe for fraud, especially in California. Companies accused of overbilling, real patients denied care, and it's costing hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. The hospice Ayani was fraudulently enrolled in is called Fortuna. When we called, no one answered.
The mailbox is full. I cannot accept any messages at this time.
The state of California increased monitoring of the hospice industry 4 years ago, identifying the hallmarks of fraud. Fortuna has 2 of them, and it's hardly alone. CBS News analyzed every hospice licensed in LA County, more than 1,700, and checked for the same warning signs the state used, like multiple hospices packed into one building, or caregivers whose patients, supposedly at death's door, are discharged alive. 3 years after the state crackdown, which included a moratorium on new hospice licenses, our investigation found more than 40% of agencies still show at least 3 of these state-defined indicators of potential fraud.
So Victory Boulevard seems to be a hotbed of...
Yep, you can't throw a rock without hitting a hospice.
Sheila Clark, a hospice patient advocate, took us to what she described as the...
This might be weird, but why would CBS publish this thing, especially surrounding the Shirley stuff? It seems like Barry Weiss got a call to make something about the Shirley stuff to give her credibility. Maybe. The only issue is that, like, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Like, there's no way to make this argument publicly without just sounding like it's cope or whatever, but actually, it's kind of funny. Actually, wait, do you know what a Gettier problem is?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. If you see a ball roll down a hill, okay, and then you see a tree at the bottom of the hill, and you watch the ball roll down the hill, and then the ball goes behind the tree, but you lose sight of the ball. If you walk to where the tree is, and you look behind the tree, and then you see the ball there, and you pick it up, you could argue that, like, I had a justification for a belief that the ball would be behind the tree, and then I verified this to be true at the end. So, like, it's like a justified true belief that, like, the ball is here. This is a sound epistemic theory. Like, I can make these statements, you know, and they're justified. These are good arguments. And I think it was proposed as a thing called a Gettier problem, where maybe the ball rolls down, goes behind the tree. Maybe a kid runs over there, picks up the ball, and runs off with it, and somebody else drops another ball. And theoretically, you could wind up with the exact same thing, where you go behind the tree, you see the ball, you pick it up. But something seems to not be true here, right? There was a ball behind the tree. It seems like you had justification for it. But something else is happening here. So even though you had like a justified true belief, just the conclusion doesn't seem to be sound there. Something seems to be off. And so one thing that's kind of annoying is that I think any reasonable person would say, I do believe that hospice, and it wouldn't surprise me if childcare stuff was like ripe for fraud for a bunch of different reasons. Anytime there's a whole bunch of state funds involved, you're going to find a bunch of people that are probably trying to game the system. So the issue is going to be that when some retard like Nick Shirley shows up, and I was very careful to say this every single time I criticized him, the statement is not that there's no fraud. It's that you haven't proven there's any fraud. You haven't shown any evidence of there being any fraud. And Nick Shirley hadn't. So regardless of whether or not there is or is not fraud there, it doesn't really matter. The fact is that he didn't make the argument that there was fraud. Which is the annoying thing about... So if they do like a follow-up investigation and there is fraud there, that's good that somebody investigated it and found it, but Nick Shirley didn't do anything to prove any of it. There were no charges filed related to anything that he came up with. All of this was like Republican operative shit. He like clearly wasn't understanding the places he was going to, the claims that he was making, or what he was looking at. So I would say that it would be annoying for somebody to do a real investigation afterwards like this to seemingly like... It seems like you're lending credibility to the statements that Shirley was making, but regardless of the underlying fact of the matter, Shirley was still not correct in any of the things that he was asserting because he wasn't doing the proper investigatory work to make it. But this is like, it's such a hard...
It's like a math problem, right? Like, just because you have the answer doesn't mean you did it right.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But it is, obviously, this is like, to walk through this argument, public, it's just very difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
Ground zero for hospice fraud. A 3-mile stretch of Los Angeles that's home to nearly 500 hospice company offices.
There's one hospice here that hits all 6 of California's red flags of possible fraud.
Well, there's no hospice there.
Legal office.
Yeah.
With a ton of mail just sitting there.
Yeah, look at this.
This agency, VML, hit every fraud indicator in our analysis and billed Medicare roughly $49,000 per patient, about 3.5 times the national average.
They need their curative treatment. They need their you know, they need to be taken care of. They need to know that they can get what they need when they need it, not hit a roadblock because somebody's scammed them.
The number you dialed is not in service.
Clark tells us when offices like these close abruptly, it's real patients in desperate need who pay the price.
How does that make you feel as somebody who deals with patients who need this?
Sad, really sad, because I talk to them every day. I'm sorry, I can't.
I wonder how they can go for a full year and still not have their license revoked. Is that a systemic failure?
We need to be responsive to the red flags and react to them, not just count them, but do something, take action. Our main lane is the accountability side, the criminal investigations, the civil investigations. That's after the damage is done, though, unfortunately.
State Attorney General Rob Bonta says his office has brought hospice fraud criminal cases against 109 defendants and about 24 civil cases.
What would you say to citizens who are throwing up their hands and saying, how long is this going to persist? Is my government doing anything to protect my taxpayer dollars?
Again, I share it. I have the frustration. So to the citizens that remain frustrated, I understand. I share your frustration. Please know that we have increased our efforts. We're working overtime on prevention and on accountability, and we will continue until hospice fraud in California is rooted out.
All of it.
CBS News reached out to the almost 60 hospices that have 5 or more flags. Many numbers were disconnected or went straight to voicemail. Representatives at some others denied any fraud and said they run legitimate hospices with real patients. Back in Van Nuys, we tried the hospice right next door to VML. We knocked, then called during the posted business hours.
You can't leave a message because the person you call has a voicemail box that hasn't been set up yet.
Wow.
Bye.
We couldn't reach anyone, and we'd soon realize these operations may be connected, part of what advocates describe as a web of hospice agencies that come and go, but continue submitting a steady stream of bills to taxpayers, whether the patients are dying or, like Ayani, are still out playing pickleball.
That's it?
Well, okay, wait. Yeah, but this didn't actually prove anything either, but okay.
This was what we refer to as ground zero. That building is considered ground zero because it just was so blatant.
Hospice patient advocate Sheila Clark has been raising alarm on this one building in LA for years. This building, our investigation found, is home to 89 registered hospice companies. It's called the Merabi Professional Medical Plaza, and it's the most extreme case of hospice clustering that we found.
And this particular building, I noticed, I'm like, dang, how can there be that many licensed and certified hospices in this tiny little building?
We went to the Van Nuys address to find out what's going on.
We're going to try to go in and see what we can find. Here's the directory. Hospice, Home Health Agency, Hospice, Hospice.
Can you come back?
Just looking at this directory, you can see dozens of hospice agencies coming up.
The state and federal records for hospice agencies tell you a lot. State auditors have identified warning signs when they're looking for fraud, like multiple hospice
Okay. Well, we'll see, I guess. Hopefully this is going somewhere.
offices packed into one building, or caretakers whose patients who are supposedly at death's door are discharged alive. According to our analysis, 72 of the 89 registered hospices in Merabi Plaza have at least 3 of those potential warning signs.
This isn't possible. It made no sense because I know what a licensed and certified hospice looks like.
We weren't the first ones to come to this building. Federal.
I don't know what that means. We're just visiting offices. You're not going to find hospice being done. Like most of it is done at home, right? We saw that. So I don't know what they're expecting to find. I don't know I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what we're doing here. But maybe this is going somewhere.
Inspection records show that regulators visited multiple suites in Merabi Plaza between 2021 and 2025, and they found nearly 400 violations. At one, a nurse wrote that a patient's family was satisfied with the care, but inspectors found no one from the hospice ever even visited that patient. At another, the patient's chart listed medications for malaria and terror, but inspectors found no one from the hospice. At one, a nurse wrote that a patient's family was satisfied with the care, but inspectors found no one from the hospice ever even visited that patient. At another, the patient's chart listed medications for malaria and diabetes, but the patient told inspectors he wasn't taking either one. And at that same company, a hospice social worker wrote about a family's grief.
Like, was the medication being administered, or was somebody like checking these out of a pharmacy, or what? Like, I don't understand what like, these are just things that sound bad, I guess, but I don't know what is happening, or I don't know what we're...
When their loved one had passed.
They still have an office with a doctor that's supposed to be seeing patients. I don't know if you do that necessarily in hospice. I think usually you get referrals and whatnot. I'm sure they could, but I don't think you have to have a office with a doctor in it seeing patients. I don't think.
Company, a hospice social worker wrote about a family's grief when their loved one had passed, but there is no evidence the patient was actually dead. These hospices have
Wait, like, what does that claim? Hold on.
taking either one. And at that same company, a hospice social worker wrote about a family's grief when their loved one had passed.
Okay.
But there is no evidence the patient was actually dead.
Like, what is, as in there wasn't like a death certificate filed, or did they have evidence the patient was alive, or what is the...
These hospices have been billing Medicare for reimbursement with your tax dollars.
Like, okay, fuck. Maybe this is going somewhere, okay? We still have 7 minutes left. But this is one of those things where all of these things that this guy is bringing up, I think, are really good first steps in like an investigative journalist report or whatever, right? Like, oh, this is like really weird. But then you would dig more to see what was going on, right? So like when they were talking about those 2 medications, that would be a really interesting thing. Oh, they said they're not taking these, but you have 2 of these medications that are listed for the patient. You would maybe try to, I don't know if you can go to the pharmacy. I don't know what HIPAA laws are like here, or find out like where these medications picked up. Maybe you could do it on behalf of the patient. I would like to take the patient's ID with a family member, go to the pharmacy and ask, has anybody picked up these prescriptions? And if the pharmacy says no, then it's like, oh, well, maybe it's a paperwork thing, or maybe something else is going on. But if they say yes, well, now you've got like a really interesting story. Well, hold on, who's picking up medications for this patient that the patient says they haven't gotten them, right? Then now you have something really interesting to go off of. Now you've got like fucking so much fraud and controlled substances potentially that are being distributed. But you would have to actually follow that thread, you know?
No one cares about it in journalism, man.
Well, the problem is that, are you familiar with like the, I'm trying not to bias too much, but are you familiar with like the whole Barry Weiss stuff or whatever?
Yes, actually a little bit. She's the
I think she's like the head editor or
like,
something
editor of
at CBS.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like a massive like partisan Trump dick suck, like an unbelievable Trump dick suck. So
Yep.
some people would accuse CBS of doing a lot of MAGA slop now.
This seems to be. But
yeah.
we'll see.
Years. Why are we still seeing such, rampant signs of this? Why hasn't...
Like, if you're getting access to these forms, there should be like a chart or something. But first of all, I don't even know how you're getting access to these things, because this must be some kind of HIPAA violation stuff. So it's a legal source somewhere, I would imagine, right? Or you're getting it with authorization from the family members or something. But like, there should be more information about all these stories. Like, it's not just going to be like, oh, we released it, we got their chart, and there's like one line on it where the nurse says, family was sad to see them go. Like, okay.
More been done.
We're committed to tackling the issue.
Yeah, there was that whole thing where CBS tried to pull their CCOT vid because Trump told them, I guess, that they didn't want it aired, but didn't it end up airing in Canada anyway because they had like...
It aired in Canada, yeah, but it did get pulled in the United States.
Yeah.
Until we root it out and extinguish all fraud.
So who's working to fix this? Well, the state attorney general is the one responsible for investigating the industry here in California.
California is always going to have the biggest numbers. We're the biggest state. We're the 4th largest economy in the world. We have the most people of any state. And but this issue is unacceptable, and we need to keep tackling it and do more.
We're also following the money here. Medicare is federally administered. It's your federal tax dollars going to these hospices. So we sat down with Dr. Mehmet Oz, who heads the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Is this accelerating? The enforcement, the shutting down of these hospices?
We have dramatically accelerated our ability to take out the bad guys by stopping their payments. And that's the big mindset shift. I want to make it clear, we're not going to pay you money just because you sent me a piece of paper with a bill on it. We're going to check to make sure that's legitimate and that document is evidence that you actually performed something that's helpful to the American people, or you're not getting money from us.
I don't know how to... God, I just hate everything, dude. Did you ever have real work? Or did you go
I worked
right?
at Wendy's. I worked at like Office Depot. I worked at a movie theater.
Like, I guess, like the joke is that in some corporate environments that things are like this. But like if you have a meeting and if you're working on a project and there are issues with a project being delivered on time, like this idea that you could just be like, okay, hey, we're 2 weeks behind the deadline on this. Can you tell me what's going on or how we can, like, do you need some help or what's going on? If an employee were to be like, there were a lot of issues, but we found out that if we just like use our time better, that we can go ahead and just move through a bunch of this stuff and we're going to do it just way better and get it solved. Like, if you
that
have a good,
doesn't really fly.
Yeah, if you have a good boss or if somebody is like in charge of shit, it's like, I don't know what the fuck you just said. What the fuck are you going to do differently? Tell me what the fuck you're going to change. Give me something actionable. Give me some kind of new metric I can hold you to, some accountability thing. I need to know what the fuck you're going to do. What do you mean you're going to do it better? What the fuck does that mean?
We're just going to do it better. It's like Trump. He literally says, like,
we're going to do it better. Yeah, like,
faster,
what does this mean?
quicker,
Like,
lower money. Yeah.
Like, I hate that these answers fly everywhere. I'm like, we're going to get rid of more stuff and we're going to make things better and we're not going to...
You would think the journalists would press him here. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Like, this answer of, like, we're not just going to give you money without checking. Nobody that's, like, if you've ever gotten government money ever in your life, these things always come with checks and strings attached and inspector generals or audits or whatever the fuck else. Like, there are so many layers of bureaucracy that are in charge of, like, all this shit. Not to say that nobody ever scams government people. Of course it happens. But, like, this is such a meaningless, no answer. It's like, ugh.
Stopping their payments. And that's the big mindset shift. I want to make it clear, we're not going to pay you money just because you sent me a piece of paper with a bill on it. We're going to check to make sure that's legitimate and that document is evidence that you actually performed something that's helpful to the American people, or you're not getting money from us.
Well, I would pause here and I would ask him, like, oh, okay, so are you saying that there were people just sending invoices and they were just being paid?
Yeah, with no checks on anything?
Yeah, so like somebody like from California would send in an invoice and then the government would pay it. Are you saying this?
Yeah, that's like, that would be
because of course he's not.
Yeah, that would be a crazy thing, but that's kind of what it sounds like he's saying, right? That would be crazy.
That's exactly
that
what
was
he's saying. Yeah,
it's retarded.
When we went back to Morabi Plaza, we found the building's owner, Kambiz Morabi.
I have vacancies. Tenant would come in as long as they're legit.
Yeah.
They have valid things that we need. I rent. I'm not a police or keeper of what they do, how they do business.
So from your perspective, they're licensed. You know, that's obviously the first sort of barometer of, you know, measuring whether
Correct.
it's a legit business or not.
Absolutely. And look, maybe state and the federal government, it's becoming restrict on many businesses, and I'm all for it, because at the end of the day, you and I are paying for all those things that are not right.
Morabi wouldn't let us walk the halls on our own to talk with hospice employees, but told us this about any possible fraud.
If you learn
He wouldn't just let us walk around the hospital ourselves. Yeah, no shit, fucking moron.
It's also so weird. I mean, unless I'm misunderstanding things, why the fuck would a building owner ever know anything about what the fuck the businesses inside the building do? Like, why would you ever know that?
Why would you care?
Like, yeah, that's not the building owner's responsibility. They're not gonna, why the fuck would the building owner ever know this? Like, as long as you have, like, the necessary paperwork for whatever's required to rent a thing, like, well, I don't know.
Hospices in your building that are accused of fraud,
I would immediately
you would get rid of them.
terminate.
Okay.
Yes.
But that hasn't happened yet.
An accusation?
Like, this is retarded. The guy's just saying whatever because he knows it's a media interview and he wants to sound good, but like, he absolutely would not do this. He's not, there's no building owner just like, somebody accuses this guy of fraud, I gotta cut the contract, no more renting. No shot he would do this. This is retarded. Slop.
No one has ever come to me tell me that, okay, this or that is...
Or like, actually, I guess he might cut contracts for this, but if he were to do it, it would just because he feels like it's like the guy's not gonna be able to pay rent. Like, if he finds out this guy's entire fucking business is fake, he'd be like, well, hold on, fuck, this guy's not gonna be able to fucking
How
pay
are you
me.
gonna pay me?
Yeah, no, okay,
yeah.
fuck this dude. Yeah, I'm cutting you loose. Maybe, yeah.
Doing fraud.
Okay, I don't know. This is slow.
We're getting there. Nope, hold on. Your TDS is showing. We're about to get to the real shit.
I got trouble.
The state of California says that if a doctor is involved with any more than like even just a few hospices, it is a sign of potential fraud.
A CBS.
Also, all of these things that he keeps going through, these are signs of fraud, but you have to do more homework to figure out if the fraud is like actually happening. Like, these are just signs. These are red flags. They're not necessarily fraud. It's just red flags.
This news investigation into hospices found an industry ripe for fraud, especially in California, where agencies were paid millions in taxpayer dollars for services never rendered, care that's supposed to help people through the end of their lives. At the heart of the industry are doctors who are trusted to sign off on care. But in records for the active physicians caring for terminal patients, one stands out. A man whose name appeared on claims from 126 hospices and had 60% more in Medicare reimbursements than the next closest doctor in 2024, the last full year of available data.
Yeah, my name is Adam Yamaguchi. I'm a correspondent with CBS News, and we're doing a story about hospice.
Dr. Rajiv Buva.
We're just trying to understand how often he's here.
We wanted to find Dr. Buva to ask how he managed to work for so many different providers. So we followed a trail of hospice offices linked to him in Medicare claims across the LA basin.
My only comment is not every hospice is like that. There's people who really need the help, and we do provide the help.
Our information tells us that he billed Medicare upwards of $5 million as of the end of September of 2025.
So there's some sort of disconnect between what the records show and what they are telling us.
That disconnect.
For the hospice stuff, unironically, the company that would be investigating this the most would be insurance companies. It would be a cold day in hell for an insurance company to pay out a claim if there weren't a patient. Well, but in this case, the insurance would be the government, right? So the government should be the one investigating,
Medicare
right?
shit, yeah.
Only grew as we followed the federal data trail, which links Buva's name to $71 million in federal Medicare claims in 2024. We followed the money to another hospice, where Buva's name was on bills for 66 patients in 1 month.
He was like, that's impossible. We couldn't possibly have that many patients at any given time.
Wait.
Where Buva's name was on bills for 66 patients. He was named to $71 million in federal Medicare claims in 2024. We followed the money to another hospice, where Buva's name was on bills for 66 patients in 1 month.
He was like, that's impossible. We couldn't possibly have that many patients at any given time.
I mean, I just don't know. It'd be nice to have like actually educated people here talking about it. Could you have that many patients at one time? I have a psychiatrist that I have to see for my Vyvanse because it's a controlled substance. I think I talk to my psychiatrist for 10 minutes once every 3 months.
Yeah, literally. So, how's it going? Is
it
good?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're good?
So he could have like 10,000 patients like me. Now, I don't know what's the standard for hospice. Maybe for hospice you are expected to see patients more, but I have no idea. But he's not telling me. I don't know.
And he also told us that Dr. Buva no longer works there.
On average
who told
in California,
Well, whoever, I don't know, the hospice people?
this doctor cares for about 140 patients in a year. In 2024, claims with Buva's name were submitted for nearly 2,800.
Like, what is the average caseload for a doctor? 66 patients in a month. What is that, 2 a day? Is that really a lot?
Sure, but now there's
I mean,
like
maybe if your
telehealth
house.
This guy he might be even doing fraud, right?
Maybe,
but
but not
there's
even
like
telehealth.
doctors, which will do the numbers crazy, you know?
Sure,
Like,
but not
you'll
even
talk to, like,
telehealth. Like
15
even people
yeah.
that work like and if you work in a clinic, even a person that works in a hospital, I imagine could easily have more than 60 patients in a month. I don't know what. Let's
easily in a hospital, yeah.
How many patients does the average doctor have? It might depend on your specialty as well. The average primary care physician typically sees between 15 and 25 patients per day, with a total patient panel, total responsibility often ranging from 1,800 to 2,500 patients per what? This is probably shared between some doctors as well, but while some models suggest lower numbers, many doctors, particularly in fee-for-service, see over 20 patients daily to meet demand. Jesus. Physicians often see approximately 3 patients per hour. Where are those doctors? Because when I go, I have to wait 2 hours for my doctor to show up. Is he seeing 6? He better be seeing 6 patients. Destiny, I see about 20 patients a day on average.
So then is this guy's claim in the video retarded?
I mean, it sounds like it, but the problem is I don't have an educated person
what
here.
number is he
and I don't have a
up? Yeah.
person...
terminally ill patients.
I don't have a person like telling me what the average is. This is always like a big red flag when somebody's like, did you know this guy is like really bad because he punches the wall 10 times a year. in this whatever. And it's like, fuck, that's a bad example because
Is
usually
his
none of us
job to
punch
punch
the
the
wall.
wall?
Well, none of us normally punch the wall. But like, if I tell you like a construction worker dropped, 10 bricks a year and broke them, right? Well, this guy must be a sloppy worker, I guess. But if I were to show you the average number of bricks dropped per year is actually 100, well, that worker now becomes an amazing worker, right? That holy shit, he only drops 10 per year. That's a phenomenal worker. That's a 90% reduction in bricks dropped, or 10,000% reduction if you're Trump. Whereas like if I found out the average bricks drop per year are 5 and this guy drops 10, it seems like kind of a shitty worker, right? It's just,
Fewer than 2% of them died, even though most people seek hospice because they are dying. State auditors call that kind of low death rate a sign of possible fraud.
Why is there so many signs of possible fraud? Where is the actual fraud? Where are my journalists at? Why are we just asking questions? Do some journalistic work. Go do some investigative journalism. Go actually research and figure out what's
too hard, man.
Like follow through at least on one storyline, on one claim, on one patient, just one patient.
No reason to think that that's legitimate.
Dr. Christina Newport has been in the hospice field for 18 years. There are a range of reasons why one physician might be identified in connection with the care of so many patients. One possibility, the doctor's identity was stolen and used to fraudulently...
What? What? That's it? That's the only way? Gee, I thought we were getting another viewpoint here to give some more context. It's like, there's actually a lot of reasons why a doctor might see somebody. Like more fraud. Jesus.
Bill the government.
Why would it be difficult for a doctor to work at dozens of hospices at any given time?
If someone is really effectively evaluating the plan of care for every patient that they admit to.
I also don't, I just don't know. I don't know because I don't know how much information they've given or what the standard practice is. Did the doctor, did it say he worked at all these hospices or that he was just listed on the patients? Because I'm pretty sure the same doctor could theoretically make 100 different referrals to different hospices. So he would be like I imagine he would still be the primary physician listed for the patient, or he would be the physician for the patient. But like, it doesn't mean that he's actually working at every single different hospice thing. And I don't even know what
This guy could literally work at a hospital and be referring them to hospices.
Maybe, yeah. Or maybe, and I also don't know how hard it is to like, work for a hospice. Like maybe hospice is just, so like for a hospice, I think you have to have a doctor referral. Maybe a hospice that takes on patients is in the practice of they just reach out to doctors and there's like lists of doctors, like expert witnesses. Like you just reach out like, oh, here's doctors that we can go to get like an opinion on this case. But I don't know because this guy didn't give any additional context or anything, but.
This feels like a video that they would do. This feels like all the research they would do before they actually start moving into like the fraud stuff. Like you're talking to people, you're learning about it.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, this is like all of these are good questions that seem kind of weird, but then you explore from here,
Yes.
The hospice, which is their job and their responsibility, they, would have a superhuman schedule to do that in a meaningful way.
We don't know
they effectively
any given time.
If someone is really effectively evaluating the plan of care for every patient that they admit to the hospice, which is their job and their responsibility, they, would have a superhuman schedule to do that in a meaningful way.
Not to be mean or whatever, but like the vast majority of medicine is pretty, I'm not trying to downplay doctors, but like your plans are pretty simple, right? The diagnosis might be difficult or knowing what to look for, but it's not like a doctor has to sit down. Again, maybe if you were in Houseland and you're doing hospice for patients that all have the rarest fucking diseases on earth, but my guess is like most hospice for most patients that are clustered around the same set of conditions like chemotherapy or dying of cancer, whatever, probably looks pretty similar. The doctor doesn't have to sit here and think for 12 hours like, oh God, like this guy had cancer and he's slowly dying. What are we going to do for this guy? There's like calculations for like body weight and all this shit for like how much pain meds do you get, what's safe based on pre-existing conditions. And like, again, I'm not trying to say that like doctors are retarded or anything, but like I seriously doubt this is a case if you have to sit down studying for your MCATs or whatever, like every day to figure out like the new hospice plan. Like you probably spit most of these out and they're probably, I don't want to say boilerplate because it sounds mean. I'm trying to downplay anything, but like, Jesus, I don't know.
We don't know exactly why Dr. Boova's name came up so much.
We got no
Data
idea.
trail led us to another hospice
They'll figure it out though. Hold on.
We understand that Dr. Rajiv Boova is the medical director here. We're just trying to get some information about him. He's not?
Oh shit, I was just going to say he's the medical director. Now if he's like the medical director, that does sound kind of weird. Although this guy just said he's not, but.
Was he at some point?
Yes, he was. But you're telling me he no longer is associated with you guys? No. Was he at some point?
CBS News found Buva's name tied to several hospices that lost their Medicare certification for what regulators called an abuse of billing.
Wait, hold on. Look at this guy's Twitter, CBS News. No posts for 1 to 2 years and then pushing the hospice stuff. The CBS News account wasn't posting for 1 to 2 years? Or
No,
this guy?
That guy, yeah.
Clavicular.
And he's talking about clavic. Bro, I'm getting psyoped. Who's responsible for this? China? Russia? Qatar? Who's doing this? Who is psyoping?
It's the juice. It's the juice.
Then God damn it. Where's my boy Fuentes at? Let's fucking, we need to do something about these guys. I'm on board. Let's go.
It's like a healthy habit.
$267 million in fraud. Fiverr out $267 million in fraud.
Plan to meet the greatest player on the planet.
Oh. 2024. $2020. Yeah, this account was fairly dead. March 17, 2025, about a baseball thing. April 8th, he retweeted about a baseball thing. And then April 9th, 20 days ago, hospice. And then April 6th, he reposted a thing he did about clavicular.
It looks like a healthy habit, but what's hiding underneath tells a different story.
Curling in the rack. Sentence death. Not a good story. And then we get our more clavicular bait. So just hospice and clavicular on this newly reactivated account. Here we go.
Yeah, the comments on the tweet are insane too. They're like, Nick Shirley, he said he needed
Great
help.
work. Nick Shirley said he couldn't do it alone and needed help. You took action while armchair critics do nothing but complain. Don't you think it would be good to give some credit to Nick Shirley for this investigation? You didn't start it until after Nick Shirley had already more than 1 million views. Thank you, Nick Shirley, for bringing fraud to light. They only did it after massive public outrage once independent journalists exposed it. At Gavin Newsom should follow at Tim Wall's example. Get out of politics now that you're exposed, dude. Funny how, just in time for midterms and on the heels of Nick Shirley and others showing how egregious the problem is, California DOJ suddenly cracks down on the issue. Oh, please, if Nick Shirley, this guy didn't lift a finger until Nick Shirley, crazy announcement until Nick Shirley, Jesus Christ. It's not even a popular tweet, too. 659 likes, 256 comments on Shirley suckers. All right, Miss Jillian. I've showcased over 170 hours of Tesla full self-driving while live here on X, and the journey continues. Do you think this person's real? Hold on.
Probably.
What do you mean, probably? Fuck you, Mooten.
The Browns pick is in.
I don't trust it. I don't trust this person. What did they get?
They haven't said yet.
117,000. What the fuck? Since October 2021.
Oh, they got a tight end. Joe Royer.
So we'll say 5 years to be generous. Times 365. This person is making, what is this, like 60 posts a day? 1825. Hold on. $64 posts a day, 64.
They gotta be bots, man.
64 posts a day for 5 years.
That's crazy.
What?
That doesn't include retweets, or does it?
I don't know. Do posts include? Well, even if it did.
I mean, I'm not downplaying it. That's a fuckload.
Do you think I use Twitter a lot or not much?
I would say you use Twitter quite a bit, yeah.
Her account was October of 2021 with 117,000 posts. My account was February of 2021. I have 8,830 posts.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sure I've like redacted my account a few times, but like even if I 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 exit, like Jesus Christ.
And this is kind of your job. That's another
yeah, true.
thing.
This shit is my job. This fucking guy. I can tell Destiny doesn't do research on anything, and he reflexively denies everything. Can you source a single example? Piers Morgan, when Piers told him the CIA said COVID was mostly going to come from a Wuhan lab leak, and he said it was still from the wet market. Please, somebody debate me on this.
All right, back to the video, old man.
Shut up!
A pattern of submitting improper claims. We reached out to him on the phone and email, but couldn't connect with him. With no
Go on this Hospice article, click on the journalist names, and look at the articles they've been writing. Rachel Gold, Laura Geller, Adam Yamaguchi, I can't click his name, and Graham Cates. Was Adam the guy?
He's the video guy.
Rachel Gold. California officials make arrests in LA hospice fraud crackdown. One hospice doctor, 1 year, $71.7 million worth of Medicare claims. Hospice with 97% survival rate accused of defrauding Medicare for $7.45 million. Congress launches investigation into California hospice fraud. We visited an LA building with 89 registered hospices. Dr. Oz pledges to tackle hospice fraud. There's one building in LA with 89 registered hospices. Ground zero for fraud? Holy shit.
So it's all just Trump slop now, huh?
Well, hold on. Let's find out. Venezuelan oil is coming to the U.S. What will it mean for gas prices? Well, wait, hold on. Gas is currently at $2.67 a gallon nationally, the lowest it's been since May 2021. But prices have been steadily declining since last November, weeks before the U.S. military operation that captured Venezuela's autocratic leader, Nicolas Maduro. Okay.
Gas is down, right, guys?
If I know prices are going to be lower in the future because I expect this Venezuelan crude, that'll impact prices now, said Dr. Ian Lange, a professor of economics and business at the Colorado School of Mines. He also served as a senior economist on the White House Council of Economic Advisors under President Trump's first term. Why would I go to him asking for, well, okay, I guess. You could. Jesus. Damn, CBS has been fucking slopified, bro.
Problem? Oh, Caitlin Collins won the White House Correspondents Award.
I saw that. I think I retweeted her on it. Baltimore gun violence tracker. Most school shootings happen outside school walls. Biden policy on Israel-Gaza sparks warnings and dissent, resignations. What?
Sorry, I linked it to you.
Who did? Oh, hold on. Jesus, hold on. This is another journalist. Lawmakers demand answers at hearing on hospice fraud. California officials make arrests in LA hospice fraud crackdown. One hospice doctor. Wait, is this the same person or is this the other journalist? Oh no, this is the another one. Damn, they're really hitting this hospice thing. 89 registered hospices. Jesus Christ, bro. Get me out of here. The buttons are lit. Blue calls for aid. Red. Fuck 'em. That one Memphis article is to cover for Trump deploying troops there to fight crime. Oh, nice. Makes sense. Did Trump ever deploy troops to Tennessee? Where are the mods to get rid of the schizobot? Destiny, please ban K. Kiani. Why are you hating on this person? My sister is an
Which
evil
chat
witch.
is that?
YouTube. That's how I see it. You have no idea. Black families are easy, not complex. We talk hard and are complex, like I said. I will continue to help black people. But please stop being so disgusting. Jesus. Okay. Wait, official Red Team review guy says, it's possible that Game of Thrones YouTuber who bailed out of a debate with you, David Lightbringer. Wait, what were we going to debate? Game of Thrones or... He posts 10 times a day, mostly about Israel-Palestine. Oh my God. He's schizo? Well, hey, listen. We accept all types here. David Lightbringer. The Dragon LML? Is that it? His biggest sin is not being able to use spell checker. Mine or... Israel runs our country. Example 45. Oh, retweeting Gatto Fumonte or whatever. Oof. It's so wild that anyone denies Israel is committing genocide when they flat out tell you, yes, we're killing the little children on purpose. That is the IDF mission.
Zog.
The reason that oh my God, 35 minutes ago. Oh, 44 minutes ago, 35 minutes ago. The reason there isn't a building left standing here is because this is an intentional attempt to make Gaza unlivable for Palestinians. The very definition of ethnic cleansing. Happy Earth Day. Please know that our country could be doing this, but chooses not to because we are run by oil companies, military contractors, and Zionists who don't give a shit about the environment. Why the Zionists? Even the Jews are fucking hating on our climate? What the fuck? Folks,
Well, they don't care about it because they're going to go to heaven.
when you have to make up fake evidence with AI, it means you're losing. The Zionists are losing the propaganda war everywhere, all around the world, and they know it. 52 minutes ago. All of these tweets are within the last hour, by the way. 1 hour ago, and yet people still tell me the Zionists don't run the U.S. government. They do, no matter which party's in power. Anyone who ever listened to this...
Probably a bot.
Well, no, this guy's like a YouTuber. Destiny, he was talking... Apparently, I tried to debate this guy, and he dodged. Official Red Team Review is talking about it in my YouTube chat. Destiny, he was talking shit to you a while back. You challenged him to a debate, and he punked out. He tweets 100 times a day about Israel-Palestine constantly. I feel like this person... I'm not trying to belittle the view that one could have, that there's a genocide, or that you could be pro-Palestinian or whatever. I mean, you can have these views. It's fine. But this guy seems like... I feel like if you're tweeting this much about everything, I feel like this guy is like having some kind of psychosis or breakdown. Like, he's not healthy. Billionaires funding PACs are creating these nesting dolls of different organizations. Oh, this one did mention Israel at least. Good job.
Well, the billionaires.
Well. Name a huge scam. Insulin. Its inventor sold the patent for $1 in 1923, saying insulin belongs to the world, not to us. 100 years later, it cost $300 per vial. Damn.
Go use the old one then.
Henry Ford invented the automobile 100 years ago. Why the fuck? Why the fuck are cars still so expensive today? Have you watched the new Conduit video where he watches Matt Walsh for a week? No. Oh, God, I can't imagine. Destiny, like these journalists covering for MAGA and Shirley were writing normal articles a year ago, but all of a sudden they switched up. Guaranteed that there was an order from the top down. Do you see crash victims as black? Pilots with his life. You should compile this information and send it to me in 2 weeks, 10-minute reads. Or, 10-minute ads. When I'm done with Mugenics. Maybe I'll do a thing on this. Because why the fuck not?
Woohoo!
Okay, we gotta finish this. Minute and 30 seconds.
No sign of him at these offices. We headed to Dr. Buva's home address. I am parked right outside his house. Hopefully he will answer the door and answer some of my questions, and if not, I came prepared.
Conduit wanted Destiny to react to his new video. Wait, did he say that explicitly somewhere? I'm just worried he's gonna watch my video because my content sucks right now and has for the past couple months, so just don't watch me for a week yet.
Paired with a letter here. Dr. Buva came out, surprisingly spoke to me for about 20 or so minutes.
Wait, they got the doctor? The guy? Oh, shit! Yes, he was asking in YouTube chat yesterday. Oh, well, fuck me.
And if not, I came prepared with a letter here. Dr. Buva came out, surprisingly spoke to me for about 20 or so minutes. He knew exactly who I was. He was very familiar with our reporting and immediately said, I don't know what else I can tell you. He said that being a...
Wait, why not show the interview? Hello? Did he say he would talk to a journalist doing an investigative journalist story off the record? He didn't say off the record, this guy.
Affiliated with dozens of hospices is not illegal, right? And
Oh, now he says affiliated with hospices. He just typed in your chat. Oh, shit. Oh, Conduit Biscuit. Is this the guy? Wait, why are you not verified on fucking YouTube? Oh, so you're like sneaking around in there. Very weird, very strange. Do you have plans for different content in the near future? Yeah, there's just a lot of things that are always just hanging over me right now, okay? My, one, I need to finish Mugenics. This is my life's mission. 2, we reapply for, I think, YouTube monetization in like 4 days. 3, I think the judge seemed eager to rule on summary judgment. So I'm hoping, if we're optimistic, end of May, or I think she said early June. So I'm hoping that means first week of June. We're done with all that bullshit. Yeah, those are the big things.
Then we got to plan the midterm stream.
We'll see. Our depot scheduled? Yeah, this week's gonna suck for you guys. We have one on the 27th and one on the 30th. So I don't know if I'll stream it all on the 27th or 30th because I don't know how long they'll be. And then on the 29th as well. But why wasn't the motion to dismiss ruled on? I mean, there's a motion for summary judgment before the judge, so it's moot. I don't know if she'll just deal with them both at the same time. Is there a reason you don't really take any sponsors? Kind of lazy. Also, like, very controversial. Like, it's hard to find sponsors in this space. And the types of there are some things I just wouldn't. I just don't like. Like, I don't like gambling stuff that much. So I don't know if I would ever take a gambling sponsor. I've had a few offers for it. Maybe if I start doing gambling sponsors, that means I'm retiring in a year. And I've said, fuck it, I'm out of here. Ground News. I had a Ground News sponsor, but then they paused it when the when the lawsuit dropped. What does the ruling change for you? Well, 1, I know that I don't have any lawyer fees to pay anymore. 2, I think I can get the ball rolling, ideally on the other case against Solo, hopefully. 3 is there are still people who are really scared. So, like, there's a lot of political work I want to be doing right now, but I can't because it's just kind of like nobody knows what's going on with that. So once I have that done with, it'll be a thing. Yeah. The problem is there's been so many claims made around the case, and it's hard for anybody to know what's real or what's going on. Obviously, I can present my side of the story, but everybody says you're like, everybody's lying on my court case, you know, but then who's to say? So I just need a ruling on it. Yeah.
It's like the Shawshank quote. Everyone here is innocent.
Yep, true.
I said, you're correct. There's nothing in the law that prevents someone from being affiliated with dozens of hospices is not illegal, right? And I said, you're correct. There's nothing in the law that prevents someone.
I know it's recorded. I know they recorded the interview. So my guess is he thought the interview just didn't favor him. It didn't make him look good, is my guess. Or that he feels like he didn't get the killer answers that he wanted, so they're not going to show the interview. He obviously didn't do any of this off the record because he's quoting from the interview.
From being affiliated with many, but again, it raises flags, and that's what I have questions about. Buva said he wanted to see our information.
Haven't you seen the new cope that is just the law existed after the crime, so Destiny got off on a technicality? Yeah, there are all sorts of new copes. But like the easiest response to that cope is, well, if you think that that this law didn't apply, then why the fuck did you sue me under that law? Like that says more about the credit. This is like a standing question where somebody's like, oh, well, they didn't rule on the merits, so they lost on standing. It was like, how did you not pass standing for your case? That makes it sound like your case was bullshit all along, right? If the statute didn't apply to whatever Pixie's alleging here, which by the way, remember, in her original claim, she said that 15 women were going to come forward and corroborate her story or whatever else, and that people had told her, you know, she had all this evidence from all these other people, and apparently all of that was just a fucking lie. So, I mean, like, that's on her more than me or anything else. People will try to run with some cope afterwards, but at least the onus will be on them to defend their claims rather than just saying, like, oh, Destiny's like a rapist. Look, he's got a court case against him. Now they'll have to do all this work to explain why it got dismissed, even though Pixie's claims were completely solid, and we all said that he was going to jail or whatever crazy shit people were saying, yeah.
Till then, he wouldn't talk any further.
I'm back at Dr. Buva's house, right here.
Wait, are you all caught up on the pit?
No.
Fuck you.
Flags, and that's what I have questions about. Buva said he wanted to see our information. Until then, he wouldn't talk any further.
I'm back at Dr. Buva's house, right here.
We returned with our data.
Hi, Doctor.
Do you think the solo case will be cheaper than the current one? Much cheaper, yes. Much cheaper.
Dr. Buva, this is Adam Yamaguchi again with CBS News. We were able to hear you through the door. Just want to give you every opportunity to speak with us before we publish.
Well, here we go.
I've got a list here. Give him every opportunity. Rang 3 times, knocked once, talked through the wall, or the door rather. Came with what he asked for.
This is actual slop.
Yeah.
Nick Shirley might have had a better video.
Maybe, actually, maybe.
He fucking might have, I'm gonna be honest.
Jesus Christ. Well. Good video, guys. Thanks. If you had to guess one way or the other based on what we've seen, would you lean towards significant fraud or no? As a percentage of everything, I would say probably not significant, no. But I mean, I'm sure for an absolute, there's a lot of money involved in healthcare and everything. So there's a lot of like...
Well, there's scary numbers, right? Even if there was $1 million in fraud, that's a lot of fucking money. But if you look at the whole thing...
Yeah. But I think that old people especially are prone to being defrauded. And I know like these types of things can be, yeah. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there was fraud involved here, yeah. But I just don't think it's on the level that Nick Shirley alleges, and they haven't. And it seems, if there is so much fraud, though, the question is, why hasn't anybody done? I try to get you guys to keep this in mind a lot, that it's not always what a person says. It's what you have to imagine is okay, well, the person said this. Why didn't they say this? But what you should imagine is, well, the person said this. If they had this information, why didn't they say it? That should always be the thing that you should think. So like for this, if there was solid fraud happening somewhere, because I keep saying like, well, why didn't they follow any of these things up? Why didn't they follow that up? That's not really the question I should be saying to you guys. Because what probably happened is they did follow up a lot of this stuff, and it was either a dead end or it contradicted their initial hypotheses. That's probably what happened.
But
because
isn't that like the worst form of journalism? Is if you have something that contradicts you, not reporting on it,
yeah,
and just
of
being
course.
like, okay, yeah, well then, yeah,
that's slop. It's propaganda for the administration right now.
Yes,
yeah.
literally.
Yeah. So yeah, slop.